Test. Test. There we go. Test. There we go. Now we're rocking and rolling. It is a wreck up here. How is everyone doing? Hey, J Ray. Hey, Rumsey. I see we got a new member. I'm going to wait till Malia's up here to shout it out. Yes. On that video. On this one here. Oh, hold on. Wait. Is it? I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, this video right here. That was good information, man. And J Ray, I had somebody come out and say that they gave a scholarship that was tied to this award that they gave them. I think this information is so good that I wish I would have done a premiere with it. But it was just a breaking news update. And I feel like we could have gone so much deeper with that. Yeah. I think that could have been a story. Yeah. Because I don't know if I've been able to tell you this yet, but they gave a scholarship on top of that. Oh, really? So actual money involvement. And the more that I think, I was sitting here thinking about it because like as I work with my ADD, if I got to be doing something to be in deep thought. So like when I'm editing or when I'm driving or when I'm doing anything like that, I'm usually in really deep thought, you know, like obsessive pinpointed thought. And I was just sitting there trying to figure it out, like why, how, what all could that benefit? And, you know, when they go to trial, it's going to look really good with their experts when they get to bring them up on stand and be like, oh, by the way, you know, our experts are the best experts in the world. So no matter what expert you bring, we have the best in the world. Let me show you why. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I know. That's why I feel like J Ray like telling everybody, like telling us about that. I think it's important. The whole grooming the public statement.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. And hello, everybody.
Hey, Pub Giant. And then I was waiting for this here, but yeah, welcome V Price, new member.
Hey Rumsey. Hey J Ray.
I'm still working on the names right now. I think I went with like military, but I feel like that's so cliche for the members levels. I think we have like Thought Writer Captain, Thought Writer, I don't know, Colonel or something like that. But we'll come up with something more fun. Like, I don't know, you know, we'll come up with something more fun. And Rumsey, this is when I get lazy. And my hair's so long now, like super long.
It's because he's miserable because he has a nose, like an what is it called? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking right now.
Yeah.
Sinus infection.
You want to see how I've been all day, you guys? Literally. The whole day. All day long. I've just been sitting and editing like this. This nose spray. I can't get off of it.
To your own detriment.
I know. Look. Maybe I will get off at 3,000, okay? We're only like I don't know, 20 people away or something like that. Maybe I'll get off at 3,000. All right. You got to click. There. Now we're good.
How are we gonna hold him accountable to get off of
I don't know,
Afrin
but
nose spray?
I need to do a spray though, because I can't breathe.
We need to hold him accountable. No way. You can fail a drug test for using nose spray? I didn't know that.
I don't know if you can anymore. I think that's the phenylephrine nose spray, which is the base chemical for like shake and bake. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, Casey. I don't think it does that anymore, though. I don't think it does that anymore. All right, so let's watch this video, okay? Because we didn't watch this video. Let's pop it up and watch the actual video.
See, that's what I thought, J. Ray. I thought it was about like money mostly. Like it was about I don't know, like efficiency based on their budget. That's just like the vibes I got.
Where was it again?
But
why is it pulling up the vidIQ stuff? I don't know why it's doing this.
It's in our email, the contact email.
Okay, hang on. Oh, you know what? What if I switch? Profiles, is that?
No, it won't affect over there. Do it over here. It won't affect it over there.
Well, we're logged in over here.
It doesn't matter.
Hang on. I just need to get off the vidIQ.
It'll keep it separate based on the window you're on, but
okay, here we go. This is the one. Okay, so I'll close out of here and we'll share this one. Oh man, it's not letting me do this one. What?
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know either. Let me just turn that off. Okay, so, all right, sorry about that. I will pull it up now. It's in our contact email?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, where are we at? Right here?
Wait. What is that? I don't think it's that. Nope.
Okay.
Go down. It's gonna be down.
This? No.
Right here.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's Science Week. I should have had you look up Science Week.
Okay, so let's do all the intro things since this is officially the true crime talk show, you guys. So here, let me see if I can pull it up here. We will do a better job at trying to audio the comments that pop up.
You mean say them verbally?
For our audio
we could
listeners,
get one of those digital things that people get that it's like the AI voice that says each comment out loud.
All right, here we go, baby. So we are official. We were able, I can't believe it, you guys. I can't believe it that we were able to get True Crime Talk Show and the True Crime Talk Show. I got all the emails. I got The name was available in Spotify and Apple, literally everywhere. So this is going to be the true crime talk show, and we're going to be able to have people come on here. We're going to be able to invite experts in. I would love to be able to have like some scary criminals come on here. But these get downloaded and uploaded. So they are going to be live for everyone to access. So I'm super excited about it. We've been able to get a few of them up here, like the Dr. Moore case and everything. So welcome to the show. This is the True Crime Talk Show by ThoughtRiot Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I am Malia.
Yes. What? Do you feel lame introing yourself on here or something?
No, it just feels different.
Yeah, but so the reason why is most of the podcast listeners are audio listeners. Once you get on all those other platforms, there's only two of them. I think it's Amazon and Spotify, which are video. So like the audio listeners are going to be lost half the time, but I mean, we'll see how it does. I mean, you know, it's on there, even if it just makes people want to come hang out on YouTube or want to come hang out on Spotify. I think that it'll be a good thing. So I'm super excited about it.
We could do not every episode, like every time we stream doesn't necessarily have to go up. It could be when we have like guests or when we do a very specific topic that we're digging into, and it's easier to listen to than just like sitting here bantering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I don't see why we don't put it all up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Hang on. I am trying to, for anybody else that didn't know, this has been up for a while. So we've been up on Spotify, on Apple, on Castbox, on Google, on Amazon, on literally all of them, like 15 different podcast providers, all of them that you can be on. We've been up here, and since episode 1, really, we've just taken down all the episodes that had a bunch of politics and all that stuff on there, and we are officially true crime. So if you guys get the chance, hop on there and give us a good rating. We'd appreciate it. Ratings are really what help get you seen on these podcast platforms. So yeah. So, hey, everybody.
Hey, Joanne.
Yes, Joanne. Welcome. Miss Kelly. All right. Chief.
I love him today. What does that mean, J. Ray?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm like the king ranter. And it's so funny in the editing that I was doing today. For whatever reason, I think because I was not feeling good with my nose, I would go long periods without talking, which is uncommon for the podcast. And then I would have like super long rants in this one. And each time I noticed it, at least I put like a little thought bubble up above your head saying something funny. So
I told you I was having a hard time interjecting, and you're like, yeah, right. And I'm like, yeah,
No way. I would not say that. I know that people have a hard time interjecting with me. I am a professional salesperson. It is my job to guide and direct and control the conversation without making you feel like I'm controlling the conversation.
Well, I feel the control. I feel it.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a little bit different with you than it is with like a client, but
yeah, no, I guarantee that it is.
Well, yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into it here.
What is all that stuff on the side?
That is vidIQ.
Okay.
Just ignore it. I don't even use it. It's a waste of money, man.
Go to theater mode.
What it was supposed to do is like do all the titles for our videos and like the descriptions and stuff, but it sucks, and I've never used it once, so I paid for it, and just pointless.
Lame.
Learning
though.
Yeah,
learning experience.
It is. So I'm super sorry if I'm really annoying, sniffling, just say something. I'll make a point to go off camera like I normally do. All right, so this is a continuation of this here, everybody who's just hopping on. Well, I guess we can use that one. So this is going to be a continuation of the Idaho State has the best forensic crime lab. This video just came out earlier today, I believe, right here. And we have another one of our star chatters that has that gave us this, reached out to us in email. Jay Ray, who we appreciate a ton and is always active and live in the conversation and the chat, gave us this information, and it's wild. Like it brings up a ton of questions.
I have lots of questions.
Yeah. It seems convenient, and like the verbiage they use and how they portray this crime lab, it's like they're very specific in the parts that make them look grand and then super vague in the important parts. You know what I mean? Like they say they're the best crime lab ever, but they don't explain why. They don't tell you how. They don't say, you know, their close rate is better than everybody else's. They're faster than everybody.
No. They did. They said business metrics.
That's exactly. What does that mean?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that was the question I said in the video, is like, because you would know more about what that means than I would. I was like, what does it mean?
It's different for every business. It's not like there's okay, so there's KPIs, right? And in corporate America, anybody knows what KPIs are. They're key performance indicators. But for every business and every industry, they're going to be different. There's no way around them. Like my key performance indicators are how many customers I've touched versus what percentage of those people I've closed in a sale versus what percentage of those people I've closed at a sale are, you know, $10,000 or more, and what percentage of those people got 5 items or more or getting add-on services, you know what I mean? And then some of my other KPIs are like driving metrics, because I'm regional and I drive all over the place, and drive like hours driving versus dollars closed and things like that. There's all these corporate formulas. So without knowing that, they could be anything. At another business, it was straight up units per sale, UPS, units per sale, which was a heavy focus, which would then transition into dollars per sale, and contract length, whether it was a 48-month contract or 60-month contract or 72-month contract or your soul, you know?
Yeah, your soul.
So
that's my kind of KPI.
Right. It just depends. There's no way to know. All right, let's check it out. Ready?
Yep, go.
State police are taking part in National Forensic Science Week. It's an opportunity for Idahoans to learn about how the ISP crime labs use techniques to solve cases. And here to talk with us about some of those techniques and why this is an important part of ISP is Laboratory System Director Matthew Gamet. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for allowing us to be here.
Yeah, so, you know, first of all, I guess, why is it important to teach folks about what you do?
I think it's really important that Idahoans understand that they have one of the best forensic science labs in the entire world right here in Idaho. And I think it's also important for them to understand that whether
in the entire world,
they're serving as a juror on an important case, or whether it's a relative that has been accused of a crime, or someone that they know, that the evidence that is presented in court is solid, that it's reliable and robust.
Yeah, we hear about, you know,
robust.
I know.
What that you guys, am I just off my rocker? Like how does robust fit when you're talking about a crime lab? Maybe this is super early in the morning and he just wants coffee, you know?
He's thinking about coffee.
Yeah.
So Casey, I saw that you mentioned the Amazon doc. So we went over, it's going to be, you know, in the podcast, it's episode 41, right?
Yeah.
Either episode 41 podcast or the clip that'll come out probably sooner than later, because it's pretty relevant, current people are talking. But I did digging into a few different things that were in those docs. Like, obviously, there wasn't much. Like, the name was redacted. The information they wanted was pretty much redacted, besides specifics on what they want from the said account. Like, they would put IMEI and redact, name, redact. We just got the dates and, like, click data, you know, account information, IP address. Like, that's what they want. But there were some other things in there, and I did some digging, and that's going to come out soon, and we're definitely going to talk about it, because I found some things I haven't heard other creators bring up, like, at all.
Yeah. Hey, CH, are you asking about the last name of the person in here on this video?
Yeah, it's Matthew Gamet.
Yeah, yep.
Director of Forensic Services.
Yes,
at
yes,
ISP.
Crime labs all the time, maybe in movies and news reports as well. But I guess, what are some of those examples that you use a crime lab to solve a case?
We work on all kinds of cases every day. So 90% of our work comes in from local police departments and from county law enforcement agencies. Those cases could be anything from a DNA case on a homicide or a sexual assault, or it could be something as simple as a question document to determine if it's accurate or if it's been forged.
And you were talking about the cold case teams with me kind of off camera earlier.
So crime labs they verify the legality of documents?
Well, he said if it's forged or not, which doesn't sound like something. Am I wrong? Is that something that ISP does typically?
Well,
or any forensic science?
Yeah, no, ISP would do it, but normally
I thought they call in an expert normally.
It wouldn't be their
it's a separate
forensic department. I guess it would actually. I'm wrong. It would be their forensic department. So no, it's probably one person that's like a forensic expert on handwriting. I'm wrong. I bet there is. I bet there is.
Well, that makes sense for somebody, I guess, to be employed that does that regularly. It's just every time I've ever seen a case where they had like a document looked in, it always seemed like it was somebody brought in from the outside. But maybe certain forensic labs have one on staff at all times. Maybe.
Yeah, I agreed. I don't know why I thought it wasn't a forensic lab that would do that, but yeah, it would.
And saying that there's a lot of upgrades or new opportunities under that umbrella right now.
Right now, we have a cold case initiative where we are sending investigators from our team out to work with local agencies to identify any cold cases that they have, cases that have not been solved. And that could mean cases from last week or from 30 years ago. They're trying to identify.
What are you talking about, Michael? Are they moving? Like, is their lab actually moving that they're talking about?
Here, Rumsey, they're about to show how they got the award and who gave it to them in just a minute.
Yes.
And Michael had a question. Can we post links in chat? Just found an interesting article.
Yeah. Oh wait, where'd you post the link?
In the chat. He's asking if he can post a link in the chat.
You can try. I don't know if we have it turned on or not. And I don't think it's a setting I can go in right now and turn it on either.
Michael, if you try and it doesn't work, I'll just post the email and you can send it to the email and then I'll pull it up here and then
identify those cases so that we can employ new forensic techniques to those cases to try and bring closure to families and sometimes survivors of those crimes.
On average, I guess, how many cases are you guys working? Because you just mentioned that's a vast range of cases.
Most of our cases that come in are for chemistry or for DUI type analysis, and those cases come in quite frequently. And so we work tens of thousands of cases every year in our laboratories. We have 3 laboratories in our state: Coeur d'Alene, here in Meridian, and also in Pocatello.
Coeur d'Alene?
Very busy. And I understand you won an award recently. Talk about that.
We did. We won the Foresight Maximus Award, which is an award that we.
What did he say about Coeur d'Alene?
He said that's where one of their labs are in Coeur d'Alene. And right now, Coeur d'Alene's like a hot topic because of Drip Drop's video that came out. And I was reading somewhere that said that True Crime Design. So shout out to Crime Circus and True Crime Design. Apparently, they both have pointed out some kind of cult-like connections or whatever in Coeur d'Alene. And yeah.
So
What?
you're streaming like that now?
What? Is it interfering with your thought process?
You're trying to stuff it in so nobody can see it now?
No, just a little. My nose hurts. I can't help it. Do you want me sniffling or would you rather not?
Go
You
ahead.
know? People are going to be like, God, he's got a big white booger in his nose. Okay, so what was I going to look up? What's the award called? That's what I'm going to look up. What was it?
Didn't it show?
Maximus Achievement Award, right? Foresight Maximus Achievement Award.
Hey, Joey. Hey, CH. And I didn't get to say hey to Ian.
Oh,
and
Ian's
Michael.
in here?
Michael, I didn't get to say hi, really. Yeah, if you send it, Michael, I'll try
He
to
did.
post it in the chat
He did.
myself. In the email?
Yeah.
You saw it come
I
through?
saw something pop up on my
Okay.
phone.
Let me look.
Okay. So why aren't we seeing the 2023? Okay, so 2022 Foresight Maximus Awards announced. So this is, oh yeah, so this isn't right. Hang on, you guys. Let me go back here.
We got an email from Video Beehive. Unleashing David Dobrik's content mastery. Unlock the secrets behind his content mastery. Like,
Who?
you can,
I don't
guess
know who that is.
David Dobrik was one of the biggest YouTubers like ever until like some things went down. And I guess now he's trying to sell his like blueprint to growing.
Yeah, we only
after he's been canceled.
we wouldn't use something like that. We're
just
going
so
all
ridiculous.
organic, man.
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
wait,
yeah,
senior
okay.
living.
Here, let me see if I can post this in the chat for everybody else if you guys want to reference to it too. Hopefully it lets me.
I don't see any 2023. So that's super strange. The only thing I see is this.
Oh, it did let me post the link. Cool. But yes, this link says that ISP is moving.
Which location?
I don't know.
He
We'll
just
see.
said there's 3.
Well, it's in the Idaho State Journal.
Okay, so Idaho State Police Forensic Services receive Foresight Maximus Award, even though it's not posted anywhere. Really strange. The Idaho State Police Forensic Services, ISPFS, has been awarded the Foresight Maximus Award, which is presented by the American Society of Crime Laboratory Directors. Based on Foresight business metrics, the Foresight Maximus Award recognizes 15 laboratories that operated at a 90% or greater peak efficiency during the 2022 operational year. ISPFS is a 2-time recipient of the Global Award. Global? Do they even check other laboratories outside of the US, or is it one of those situations where they just call it global but only check US laboratories? You know? Today, we proudly recognize the ISPFS for their remarkable achievement and unwavering commitment to the pursuit of truth and justice. Dedication, expertise, and exceptional efficiency metrics have established our lab system as one of the top 15 lab systems in the world, said Colonel Kedrick Wills of the Idaho State Police. ISPFS technical proficiency and dedication to the criminal justice system through analyzing evidence, interpreting data, and providing critical insights significantly impact investigations, delivering justice, and bringing closure in countless cases. Truly, our lab system continues raising the bar in forensic science for the benefit of the people of Idaho.
So it's based off of all of that, or are they just saying what they do?
I haven't read anything. Literally nothing.
So, and they're one of 15. It's not like they're like super special.
And I haven't read one metric the entire time we've been looking at this or reading this. Not one.
Okay, so
The only thing they've said is dedication, expertise, and exceptional efficiency. What? Dedication, expertise, and exceptional efficiency. What does that even mean?
What does that mean?
It means nothing. It means whatever you want it to mean.
Yeah, essentially. But I think it might get a little more into it. Go read that next paragraph.
All right. The Foresight program began in North America in 2007 with the West Virginia University College of Business and Economics, WVU, and the National Institute of Justice as a business-guided self-evaluation of forensic science laboratories. It has since expanded and now includes forensic laboratories from around the world. WVU and Florida International University's faculty provide assistance, guidance, and analysis as they standardize definitions for metrics to evaluate work, processes, and link financial information to work tasks and functions. As the program grows, it has led publications, laboratory efficiency improvements, and supplementary program funding. Due to its success and expansions, ASCLD began recognizing high-performing laboratories. ISPF strives to be among the world's most elite and efficient laboratories. Our vision is to be a leader in unbiased science, transparency, and accountability to our customers and stakeholders. That's important. Our commitment to the citizens of Idaho is to be the best at forensic science analysis and use our resources efficiently and responsibly by providing financial and productivity data to a world-class business school such as WVU to evaluate our efficiency. We can assure Idaho taxpayers that the resources they dedicate to forensic services are well invested. We are extremely pleased to be awarded the Foresight Maximus Award for the second time in the last 3 years, says Matthew Gammett. So that's a good thing to point out, right? So the second time in 3 years, that makes it feel like less like they're trying to paint an image of, look how great I am. We have a big trial coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to be fair on both sides here.
Yeah. And hey, Riddler, good to see you.
Hey.
So I do find it odd that our vision is to be a leader in unbiased science, transparency, and accountability to our customers and stakeholders.
Stakeholders is weird. I guess maybe I'm just dumb and I don't understand how these laboratories work, but when you're a state funded and ran laboratory, you can't be unbiased if you have stakeholders. So is their work subcontracted? Is this a subcontracted entity, or are they owned? Because the only way that you're going to have stakeholders is if it's a subcontracted entity.
Yeah.
That's the only way. The only way.
Subcontracted by the state.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Subcontracted by the state. That means that it would effectively be its own laboratory, and it would be its own standalone business
private.
and just conduct work for Idaho State. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's private.
Yeah, if that's what it is.
If that's what it is, yeah.
Right.
But look, it
What?
says so WVU and Florida International University's faculty provide assistance, guidance. Okay. Where was that where it was talking about
What?
So
What?
did it say any of the metrics right
No,
here?
nothing. It hasn't said nothing. Zero. None.
J. Ray did say that she is going to send a couple articles that give some more information that she found.
Yeah, I put that up there just a second ago. So yes, we will pull that up. That is much, much, much appreciated.
Yep. Thank you, Riddler.
Right. Yeah. I know, Miss Kelly. I'm asking the same questions. Like, okay, So where I have a big issue at is, like, okay, this award sounds really great and everything, and it's really convenient during this time, okay? And again, I'm going back to, I don't want to go tin hat here. I'm not looking to go tin hat here. I don't want to look at this and just automatically, devalue what this award means to them. But in order for the people, and like they said, the customers or the stakeholders, whether it ends up being an actual owner in the lab or it ends up being taxpayers, the only way that you can be appreciated for something good that you're doing is if we understand and know exactly what you're doing good. If we don't know that, then how can we understand like how great of an achievement this is? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue. I have none. I might be able to look at their metrics or at least understand it, right? So I feel like a way that they could have explained it is they're held to these standards here. How quickly you get through evidence for a case, how many times that evidence that you worked leads to a conviction, or how many times that evidence that you work leads to being used in the court hearing or case or trial. You know what I mean?
What is Idaho National? Wait, what is this?
Here, we'll finish this up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Partner with a university, West Virginia University, and they have evaluated us, looked at all of our business metrics, and they have named us one of the most efficient laboratory systems in the world, operating within 90% of peak efficiency. So we're very pleased with that, and Idahoans can be very pleased knowing that their crime lab is making the most efficient use of their tax dollars.
Wow, very impressive. And if folks are watching right now and they want to learn more, how can they do that?
Our website has a vast amount of information. We try and put everything that we can on our website, everything from a laboratory tour to information about our methods and practices that we employ.
Oh, lab
So we
tour.
would encourage you to engage with us on our website and learn more about the Forensic Science Week.
Very,
What's your
very
website?
cool, very
Yeah.
fascinating. All right,
What is
Matthew,
their
thank you so
website?
much for joining us here on the News at 4, and we'll be right back.
Okay, so let's figure it out. What is their website here? So Idaho State Forensics Lab website. That can't be it.
Why?
Just stateofidaho.gov. Okay. So this is what is their website?
Wait, what? Go to the bottom.
What
is that link?
This is, I'm assuming, how the labs are broken up. They said they had 3, right? So one is in Coeur d'Alene, Meridian, and Pocatello. I probably hacked that. Sorry, Idahoans. Yeah, what? So
project. We want to introduce you here to Project Foresight. The Foresight.
yeah, I agree, CH. This website is not very user-friendly
At all.
Material begins here at the College of Business and Economics website. So you can see this highlighted up above here, business.wvu.edu. And this is in the research-outreach / forensic-business-studies. To get to the College of
Participation in Foresight is voluntary. Each participating laboratory receives at no charge a detailed analysis of their performance relative to all ISO IEC 17025 accredited laboratories in the project. A participating laboratory must submit their data using the project's Laboratory Reporting Analysis Tool, LabRat, a Microsoft Excel-based tool. LabRat includes worksheets for the minimum data submission, level 1, and optionally Yeah, optionally. More detailed data in level 2. Level 1 data includes the number of cases submitted in each area of the investigation with the associated allocation of personnel across those areas. The corresponding financial data requests the total salary and benefits in those areas of investigation and the total laboratory expenditures for capital equipment, consumables, and total remaining expenditures. The optional level 2 worksheets enable a more detailed report to each laboratory with the submission of greater detail within casework, personnel, and financials. And Ian, I just saw your email, or not your email, your message come through on Discord, you guys. So if you guys are new here, you can join our Discord. I will put that in the link here in just a second. But yes, we found some incredible information with the Delphi case, you guys. So we're gonna take a little side trip
Wait,
here.
we're not going to wait till the video comes out?
No, we are because I want to talk to his defense attorneys first. So I'm not going to release that information. It's that good. It is literally that good.
We found something.
Yeah, Malia did a lot of research into a different theory, what it could be, who could be involved, what people are in the area, and how, why, who, what, when, where, how. All due to her research. I just was in my ADHD obsession, tunnel vision, sitting here editing nonstop, my eyes glued to the computer, and bam, it just popped, man. And I was able to connect some dots that we've been wondering about, trying to figure it out.
Obsessing. And then what's funny is I was in the bathroom all the way downstairs and I hear, and I was like, I'm about to hear running. I just know it. I just know I'm about to hear running. You keep running.
Yeah, it was too good. I
was like, something just happened, and I don't know if it was good or bad, but
this is how it happens with me. If I want to figure something out, I have to try to not think about it and do something else, and then stuff starts moving in my head. It's probably just a symptom. You know what I mean? I can't help it.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm sure forensic labs get awarded all the time. However, I don't remember hearing about it if this lab wasn't involved in a high profile. Yes, that we have question marks like that too. And I think those are fair question marks too. I don't think that that's even looking at this through a lens of doubt. I think that is a very, very, very fair thing to look at in this situation. I always try and look at these situations, and whatever my first thought is, like, are we going to look at this from a side of doubt? Then am I looking at it bias, or am I truly looking at this because there's some major question marks here?
Yeah. Hey, Waterbug and Ron Reynolds, Chains. I don't know if I got to say hi to you. God T, hello, American Princess. Welcome all. J Ray did say it is publicly funded for sure. I was just looking into it. I believe so too. I'm pretty positive. I couldn't find anything like super, super concrete. Like, I think I did see Miss Kelly, your comment about the exchange website. I haven't looked that up yet, but so Ron Reynolds said stakeholders will want to see profits as priority, and when we follow money trails, of course, we can question integrity along the trail. That's a good point. Let's see. Yeah, the truth is definitely coming in the Delphi case. I know it will. If it doesn't, then there's a reason for that, and it's not a good one. Not a good one at all. Hello, Pub Giant.
Yeah, and look, if the evidence that we're talking about has weight to it, right? Because I want to be clear, even though even though I'm saying we found some incredible evidence for the Delphi, and it could literally create a break in the Delphi case, we weren't there, right? So everything is theory. The same thing cops do, unless a cop was there. Everything is theory, right? You got to put your theories to the test. You got to try and find evidence to back these theories and see if it makes sense. However, the current couple theories that are out there leave me with some big question marks by them, right? And with the bodies and the sticks and all that other placement, I think that we figured out a theory that is more realistic and somewhere in the middle that that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, enough to where we're reaching out to the defense attorneys and letting them know what we found, right? And it is a very specific type of information that I think that a lot of people wouldn't have picked up, but because I used to hang out with troublemakers, guys that did a decade in prison, 5 years in prison all the time, there was some additional knowledge that I have that isn't just your everyday knowledge, that helped us make that connection, And the ultimate goal here is, look, is it cool to come out with like this evidence as the first one finding it? I guess I'm not one. I don't want to be one of those creators that's like always fighting for that front spotlight, trying to get.
No, that's not our goal.
No. I would much rather know that we helped get the right people in the right places, right? Whether that is a suspect, whether that is helping the victims' families, no matter what it is, I would rather come out with a video days after other people and know that we did something good and positive and we get to approach it from a positive standpoint than have to feel like we're always fighting other creators and people and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just how I feel, but it's interesting stuff, man. It is interesting stuff. And it actually leans a little bit away from the cult stuff, you guys. So
yeah, it leans away. Yes, Rumsey, it leans away from Richard Allen and it leans away from like cult. Okay.
Yep.
Like, think of the traditional, the traditional idea of cult, like a cult ritualistic sacrifice. It leans away from that.
Yes. I have a sinus infection. I'm sorry. It's either this or me sniffing every 30 seconds. All right.
It's not technically a snot rocket, but
I'm sorry if it's offensive, you guys.
So this is interesting. Clumsy Catwalk also said Authorm is a GoFundMe lab, and then Miss Kelly was looking at the stock exchange website and said Idaho National Labs found their stock info.
Really? No way.
How is that possible?
So they're a private company then?
What? Can a state business also have ties to a private business? Because they also are state funded. How is that possible?
Well, I mean, the state can be a customer. But
I believe they are also state funded, though. Like,
well, yeah, the state
Idaho
can be a customer. So, like, okay, this is how it could work.
It's called Idaho State Police Forensic Laboratory.
Okay, so this is how it works. So, this is a true subcontracting situation. So you have a business, okay? So,
you need a visual representation.
Yeah, of course. So you have your business, right? And this business is a publicly funded, self-created LLC or corporation, okay? It could be either one of those things. It doesn't matter what it is. And you get all your funding from the general public and from science and the government, like most of these science type companies and businesses, things like that. But then you have Idaho State Police who come in and say, hey, your level of expertise is like at a 10 and we're only at a 7. So right now we're paying our investigators $1.5 million a year. Okay. So if we come to you and just give you the $1.5 million of a year, can you cut out 25% of your workforce and company to be to manage our business and prioritize our business, right? And they could say, yeah, that's great. We love 1.5 million guaranteed every year, no matter what. And then if we get things, stats where you want them, if we get the KPIs right, maybe there's bonuses on top of it, right? I don't know. I'm just coming up with ideas that I've seen in other businesses and things like that. So they could have agreed to that and signed they could have subcontracted through them and given them, hey, you're going to get 25% of our workforce. You get this designated lab that is cut off from the rest of the company, the rest of the building. It's secure. We got cameras. We got everything for you. And that is you, right? And then you can slap that title on it of Idaho State Forensics Department, lab, company, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter what you call it. But yes, I think that would be okay. And then it's just an umbrella factor where you have the company, let's just pretend it's called, Forensics 101. And then you have ISP under that umbrella for the Idaho State Forensics Laboratory. And then you have the other percentage of the business over here that is maybe college-based sciences and personal sciences, customers, who knows what they're coming in there for. I'm trying to come up with things that people could be walking in there that need their people for, you know what I mean?
Oh, Michael said similar to Raytheon for the DoD.
Yes, exactly. Yes. The federal government is an awesome example to use because they subcontract out everything. They subcontract our own defense contracts out, you guys. Like, I don't think a lot of people out there understand like how corporate we are. We are so corporate that our protection of our federal government and citizens in this US is subcontracted to a private company.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? That's how corporate we are. Like when you look up the definition of corporation or corporate, it's literally the US map. So
Ian said that all the thoughts are trying to riot out of your nose.
they are. They are.
And I agree with you, Rumsey. The Delphi case makes me sick too, man. It really does. Everything about it. That's why I was obsessing over it. I was like, I have to understand this. Like, because all this time, this 5 years, we've never gotten anything about the crime scene. They have never released a single detail. And now I feel like that was intentional. And that was the only way the defense felt like they could get it out there ahead of the trial. And I think they're going to have his case thrown out, if I'm being honest.
I don't.
It depends. It depends.
Yep.
It's going to be a butterfly effect.
So
like it could go either way.
So I think people don't realize the implications that throwing out a case brings to people. Okay. So if the police and state throw out a case, whether it's the Idaho 4, whether it is Delphi, okay, they better have another suspect ready to go. Otherwise,
they did it in Morphew.
It's going to be a horrible outcome. Yeah, but that didn't have nearly the attention that these two cases have. This is at a world scale. That might be considered national scale. This is on a whole world scale, a level of interest we haven't seen since John Bonet.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
It is going to be a case that is used in colleges. It is going to be a case that is used for training law enforcement. It is followed by so many people everywhere, all over the world, because it was such a heinous, disgusting, surprising crime. You know, nobody was ready for this. Nobody.
Miss Kelly, you're definitely uncovering some stuff about the stocks.
Yeah,
So
you follow the money, man. I'm
Yeah,
telling
good
you,
job.
always.
Good job, Miss Kelly. When Apple, I'm trying to catch up on a few comments. Riddler told you to do this recipe: apple, peeled lemon, ginger, 1 teaspoon of honey, and then somebody said add garlic. Which I know garlic. Lopan said add garlic, which I know that is like a natural, like it has antibiotic, antimicrobial, like strong, like effects, like very strong. But it has to be raw. It has to be raw.
I've literally heard somebody say that when you have a sinus infection, if you stick like a clove of garlic up your nose, that you only have to do it for a little bit and then it will be fixed.
It burns though, bad.
Does it?
Garlic burns, yes.
Nose spray.
Miss Kelly said, I worked for insurance company that didn't go public until very late in the game. I'm talking 100 years since they're an old company. It took years for us to learn the SEC rules, regulations, so I'm wondering.
Yeah, and stocks are my game, you guys. Like,
yeah, Brendan's into stocks. I don't understand that at all. Like, I'm not a numbers or money person. You know, I got straight A's, but I was more of like an English lit history. I wrote poems in high school.
yeah,
you know, I was
stocks
that
are my
person.
strong suit. So,
He's
like
the numbers person.
What the SEC works for in these situations is your company that insurance company was probably just a little bit afraid and not understanding exactly how it works, because the SEC's fines, you guys, are so little. They are so tiny that no one cares about SEC fines, because they're going to pull $150 million from an illegal trade, from illegal information that they should have never got, and only pay, a $2 million fine after netting $148 million. Like, that's how it works.
Okay.
Yes, Lockheed, Boeing, General D.
Chief said, stupid question. What exactly are we trying to figure out in regards to this? Trust me, I'm fascinated. Just curious. I missed the first video. Sorry.
So it was brought up originally with
J-Ray in the chat.
Yeah. So J-Ray sent it to us, and we were curious if the timing has to do with the Idaho 4 case, right? Because basically what it feels like is it's going to come down to the battle of experts. You're going to have the state or the prosecution who's going to have their expert, and then the defense who's going to have their expert. Now, when they go to stand, obviously they're going to say different things, and that's one thing I wanted to say about that video too, about the wireless video. So many people responded saying stuff like, "Oh, that's not how that works. That you're not an expert, you're not this, whatever." But like, people need to understand that when you're an expert, normally you have your own separate opinion, and experts have different opinions. There is not one truth, unfortunately. I wish there was. So back to my example, you're going to have the state, and then you're going to have the defense. And let's say it's on cell signal. Okay. And the state is going to have their cell signal expert that's going to go up on the stand and say, oh yeah, this is one of the best locators that I've ever seen. We know exactly where he's at. This is clearly stalking behavior. He was clearly sitting right outside of 1122. We can tell everything from this. And let me give you my expert opinion on why, right? And then you're going to have the defense expert come up there and say, absolutely not. There is no way that you can tell anything about where he's at. And the only little bit you'll be able to tell where he's at is like within 4 football fields, okay, within 1,200 feet or whatever it comes out to, or 1,200 feet. So he could be at 1122, or he could be on Main Street getting food, or be at the vegan store buying vegan food to take home or whatever. And let me give you my expert opinion on why. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, experts, there isn't a one size fits all. You know, it's not a this or a that. It's who knows? It's whoever's the best salesperson, honestly. I think that's why I like court and lawyers and law so much, because, like, dude, they're salespeople.
Yeah.
Some of the best lawyers, they're the best because they grandstand the best, you know?
For real. So that is super funny. The lab director's name is Gamut. Super funny. Delphi, we're kind of going back and forth right now, American Princess. We're talking about some information that we're actually trying to get to the defense of Richard Allen right now. We're not going to talk about it, but we're just kind of mentioning it.
Yeah,
so
getting people excited for it.
I feel like that could be the case too, Rumsey, that Richard Allen could go down for a group.
Yeah.
So
yeah, understand that this evidence too, I think it's very possible, and we've talked about this a couple times, like the evidence we have of what type of crime this was and how people found the motive or want or desire to do this to two little girls that should have never had this happen to them. You know, it could include Richard Allen. He could be a part of it. It is totally possible, you know?
Yeah, that's true too. Zinc is good for this. It's not hay fever, it's his addiction to nose spray. He probably has
man, we appreciate
an infection.
Yeah, we appreciate your service, my friend.
Yeah, that's wow.
Absolutely. 20 years is a long time. So, is 20 years the standard when you can retire, right? From the military? I think so. I think you get early retirement. So you can retire at like 50 something. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong.
I think
I'm doing my math
retire
wrong.
earlier than that, can't you?
No, not with enough income to live off of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when my uncle retired, because he was in the military his whole working life.
Well, we appreciate your service, Riddler, and anybody else that is military and watches us. We appreciate your service too.
Yeah, Michael too. Because I know you're a vet.
Yes.
Rumsey, yes, I was a little poet. I really was. Skunkworks. What is Skunkworks?
Oh gosh.
I don't know.
You don't know what Skunkworks is? Oh, we aren't even going to get into that. I don't know where my tin hat is.
Okay, we'll get into it later.
Laser.
I was trying to look up some former skunks I knew earlier this morning. No way. Now I'm so curious. We got to talk about that at some point.
It's just weaponry.
Okay.
It's weaponry and rockets. I'm pretty sure. I think it's more heavily weaponry for rockets, but I could be wrong. I forget what their exact specialists, what they exactly specialize in. I think it's propulsion rockets, I think, or something like that. Propulsion weaponry rockets, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's the minimum natural requirement, 20 years. Michael had 25.
That's what I thought. I was like this close to going in the military, you guys. I honestly wish I would have at times, but I just,
really?
yeah, I think so.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. What? Yes, you knew that I was like literally a hair away from going, like
Casey thought
a week away from basic.
20 years old. That's what she thought he meant.
Yeah, I was going Army.
Oh, yeah. He said that's a hole. Skunkworks, that's a hole. Been there, done that. I don't see Amanda yet, Casey. Not yet. She's been coming in about an hour in. I'm assuming she's just been busy.
Yeah.
She'll be in here, I bet. She usually is.
Okay, so Skunks builds and engineers planes. Okay.
Okay, yeah, Skunks work.
Yeah, with DARPA too. DARPA. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where my tin hat is. You'll know what it is. Like, everyone knows what it is, even if you don't remember the name.
Ashley said, "Hope you feel better."
Oh, I appreciate that. It's just nasal pain right now.
So
Okay.
we're just talking about ISP, Ashley. They received an award. Michael sent that article about them moving.
Yeah.
And I know J Ray was supposed to be sending some stuff. I don't know if it's
We
in
will
there yet.
hop over here. So what is
Not that.
okay? Not bananas.
That's the weird David Dobrik thing.
Oh, okay. So this is that. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
that they're moving.
Oh, okay. So interesting. Which one is it though? You're located on ISU campus. Huh.
So they had one in Moscow, like during the murders. They had a pathology lab. So is that where the knife sheath was originally tested? Did he for real ever go in there? Because this is something I've been thinking about a lot.
That we asked.
Is his DNA present in the lab because he's been in there?
Hey, Annie. How's the internet so far?
Yeah, is your internet better? Oh, it's doing good so far. Good.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We're jumping
confused.
to conclusions.
We
here.
are. Okay. Thank you, J Ray.
It's in Bannock County. So
So where's it moving to? Oh, you're looking at Bannock County.
what town is it?
That's
Pocatello.
okay.
Pocatello.
So that was on the website.
Okay.
That then remember we saw that it was like the bottom right.
Yep.
So where are they moving to?
Okay, so Pocatello, the proposed East Idaho Forensic Pathology Center's future home will no longer be located on the campus of Idaho State University. Bannock County Commissioner Jeff Hugh-Ho on Friday confirmed to the Idaho State Journal that the facility will no longer be on the ISU campus. Weird. The confirmation comes after the facility, which is slated to serve 17 counties, experienced setbacks and delays. However, both Ho and fellow Bannock County Commissioner Ernie Moser said they are confident the project will indeed move forward. Ho declined to confirm where the new facility will be located. It's moving ahead, he said. We're hoping to have the final green light within the next 2 weeks. It was a move to Bannock County worked with Idaho State University in making, according to a statement from Emma Iannico. Gosh, these last names, man. Spokeswoman for Bannock County. We are excited about the direction we're taking with the new location of the Eastern Idaho Forensic Pathology Center, EIFPC, because it allows us to maintain an educational partnership with ISU and build the facility at a lower cost. According to the statement, ISU support and assistance have been vital to the success of this endeavor. We appreciate their collaborative efforts. We look forward to continuing to build our partnership with ISU and the educational opportunities the center will offer. Idaho State University Kevin Satterley also confirmed the university did not lose money in its preparation for the project, since the center will no longer be located on campus. Interesting. I'm assuming, how far is this? I wonder, where did the evidence go to? Does anyone know, just off the top of their heads, where the Idaho 4 evidence went to? Which lab? I'm going to try and look it up here.
There's Amanda. Somebody, I forgot who it was already, was asking where you were, Amanda, if you were in the chat.
So it was this lab.
Oh, it did go to this one.
It looks like it. A DNA sample from trash recovered from the Koberger family. Oh, yeah.
It's talking about Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
You read that
You're
wrong.
Right. You're right. I did.
Where did the sheath go? You know, it's funny. I was just watching the new 48 Hours episode. It's the game show and then the murder or whatever about the lady in Quincy, Illinois, which is weird to me because I have family that lives in that area. So it's like, it's really strange. But they really think it's the husband, and there's some like heavy hitting evidence against him. But in the 48 Hours, there were tons of crime scene photos. Like where the police physically got up on the roof, showed how the person would get up on the roof, how they would break into the window. They showed pictures of broken stuff all in the house from the crime scene. And I'm just thinking, you know, there's so many cases where we get so much information. Like we get 911 calls, we get crime scene photos, like maybe not of the body or anything, but of like things around, like where the person would have broke in or where this would have happened. You know what I'm saying? And in the Koberger case, we get next to nothing. Like everything that we've gotten has been either speculation, anonymous tips. It's come from the documents people have had to go research themselves. It's like, it's just so many, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like how secretive it is.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone has a problem with.
Yeah,
Ashley,
but when you compare it to other cases, the difference is stark. It's so
agreed.
stark.
I agree. And you're a mind reader, Ashley, because that is literally the video I just got done editing. So
right. We just said that, and I think Miss Kelly's talking about it too. We don't know if there's any chance he could have visited the crime labs, but
that was our big question.
It's a huge possibility in my mind.
Yes, I agree, because when I was doing research on the DNA expert video, which obviously I'm not an expert in DNA, but I was reading expert documents, I was reading tests that they did so that we could create an expert-ish type video. That's what they talked about, is all the potential ways that you could get cross-contamination when doing a DNA test, you know, DNA fingerprinting. And there are a lot of non-fraudulent ways, and there are a lot of fraudulent ways too, you know.
The case that is going to come out that we just recorded of contamination in a lab,
I know,
is insane.
I know.
It is crazy to where they literally thought there was a serial killer.
I know.
Because they kept getting this DNA, and then come to find out they were contaminating their own evidence.
Yeah, don't
the
give
whole
it away,
time.
though.
I'm not giving it away. But it's nuts. I just couldn't believe it.
It is one of the craziest stories I've ever seen.
So the sheath went to the same place the knife went? What do you mean, Rumsey? There is no knife. Shh.
Now
Meridian.
my lips smell like honey.
Wait, why do I keep saying Meridian? What does that mean?
Are you guys talking about the company, or that's the location it went to? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I think one of them was Meridian Crime Lab, right?
Yeah. People kept blowing it up.
Yep.
Oh, you fell asleep, Amanda. Well, I'm glad you're here. Yep. It was Casey looking for you. What? Yeah. She's been
asking.
yelling at you.
I appreciate it though. Like, you got. If I'm not hearing something or seeing something, I'm the first one to tell people. Like, if you got my phone number and you're trying to get a hold of me, I am not one of those people that's like, God, you're blowing me up. Please blow me up, man.
Okay, Miss Kelly. So is that what Don Daniels said? Was that it was Meridian? Apartment evidence was sent to. Oh, Rumsey, Quincy's 40 minutes from where you graduated high school. That's crazy.
Yeah.
This one?
No, it's just I wanted to read it so you didn't go. Yeah.
Yes, we do want evidence we can see. Seriously.
I just have something in it now. So it'll hold the pressure. Who's to say he didn't touch the sheath? I agree with you. I think that is a very honest, upfront, straightforward question. And, you know, I keep going back to falling in the middle on this topic, you guys. So I feel like there's this or that thinking out there with almost everything in this case, you know? And like what I mean by that is if you're online, you're either watching a content creator or part of, or for the most part feel like the knife sheath is fraud, or it's not, you know, and it could be that there's some kind of explainable cross-contamination reason that we're just not even seeing yet and not understanding yet, like him being in that area. Is it totally possible that it's fraudulent? Absolutely. All day long, it's totally possible.
He was an intern?
Like he was an
possibly?
intern. Yep. And that's why one of the questions I have with like if we're leaning on the fraudulent side of things is that DNA evidence. If you guys look at the picture, I highlighted that for a reason. Is that DNA evidence and swab ever left alone in the lab? Is it under a camera 100% of the time? Because of, here, let me switch back over to what they're looking at. Because the knife sheath was reportedly sent for testing at a startup in Texas after initial testing at the lab in Idaho could not find anything.
What does a
Could not find anything.
What is a startup? What is that? Here, I wanted to highlight this. Yeah, I know, Rumsey, and his internet searches are nuts. They're ridiculous. That made me think it was him.
Who?
The Quincy case. You haven't seen it yet.
No.
But like in the beginning of the 48 hours, I really didn't think it was him. By the end, I did think it was him.
I did. And I mean it. I mean it. You know, when I'm in a company too, I even tell my boss and people around me, like, dude, blow me up, because I'm never, you guys, I'm never the type of person that's like, oh, I'm not willing to do that. She's asking too much. I'm a super optimistic go-getter type person. So if something's not getting done or I'm ignoring someone, it's literally just because I'm not seeing it and I'm not realizing it. So I always tell everyone, blow me up, man.
I'm the same exact way too. Ashley, we live in Illinois.
Chicago.
Brendan, look up the article Authentication of Forensic DNA Samples by Dan Frumpkin.
Okay. Authentication of DNA samples by Dan Frumpkin.
Yep. Jacksonville. I know it very well, Rumsey.
This here. This one?
Is it this one, CH? Oh, okay.
Hey, Slayer.
Where?
Sorry, we just got to those messages.
What's up?
Hello, hello.
I was saying Don Daniel says exactly where his apartment evidence was sent to and says, in case the DNA is not okay to be used. What was that about? Who says this in a sworn statement?
Right. Yes, I agree with you. There has been a shroud of secrecy the entire time. And look, like, I feel like part of the reason that a lot of people have major questions and or distrust of law enforcement, whether it's in this situation, whether it's in another situation, or whether it's in general, is because of things like this that we're seeing, where we have law enforcement or statements being made by law enforcement or statements being made and highlighted for the general public to see that have major questions by them that don't make sense. You know what I mean? And look, people are going to make mistakes. There's no way around that. There's no way to avoid that. So in a situation where a police officer makes a mistake, you know how much more I personally would respect them if they just came out and said, hey, look, we made this mistake. Hey, look, we made somebody picked up the wrong thing. Somebody did this wrong. Somebody did that wrong. And we just move forward from there. I don't know about you guys, but I personally would be able to just drop it and move forward, because the ultimate goal in any case or situation is that the law enforcement catches a suspect, catches the right guy, right? And if a mistake's made that causes them to make it take longer than it should have or delay whatever, then, apologize, fix it, move forward with a plan. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that's just my corporate America experience. I don't know.
Yeah. We're not originally from Illinois. I have a mixture of accents though. Like, I'm originally from California, lived in Tennessee a long time, lived in Illinois for a while, so I probably have a mix of accents.
I'm from California, bro.
So Jair said, I'm telling you, Don Daniels pulled some sketch beep beep too.
Yep.
If you ask me, like, I tried to slide the inventory under the door, but I couldn't fit it, so I had to go back in unaccompanied. Which doc is this from, you guys? Do you know which doc this is from? Like, is it on the Idaho website? Hey, Trisha. Subreddit impersonating a walrus. That's so funny.
That is funny.
Oh my gosh. You need a star just for that comment.
We totally could have met. I'm all over the place. I've been in sales my whole career. So, like, I meet a lot of people every day. A lot of people every day.
Yeah, you do.
Yep.
If you own a business anywhere, you may have met him.
Yep.
Does Don Daniel have bushy eyebrows?
Right.
No, there were not bloody sheets in his room. It was 2 little blood drops on
Like
his
pimple.
pillowcase. Like,
Yep.
he had a pimple or cut himself shaving.
Yep.
They haven't found anything with it either. Yeah, I don't think I've looked into that. That's why I was asking which document it was. Email you sent yesterday. I haven't checked the email yesterday or today because we've been like editing, and the weekends are usually really busy on the
Super busy.
pre-record like podcast end. So, but I will look, Casey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was just a couple blood spots. It wasn't like J. Ray saying. It was most likely his.
I never saw if this is the right article. So here. Authentication of forensic DNA samples. Abstract. Over the past 20 years, DNA analysis has revolutionized forensic science and has become a dominant tool in law enforcement. Today, DNA evidence is key to the conviction or exoneration of suspects of various types of crimes, from theft to R to M. However, the disturbing possibility that the DNA evidence can be faked has been overlooked. It turns out that standard molecular biology techniques such as PCR, molecular cloning, and recently developed whole genome application WGA enable anyone with basic equipment and know-how to produce practically unlimited amounts of in vitro synthesized artificial DNA with any desired genetic profile. Wow.
What? This
artificial DNA can then be applied to surfaces of objects or incorporated into genuine human tissues and planted in crime scenes. Here we show that the current forensic procedures fail to distinguish between such samples of blood, saliva, and touch surfaces with artificial DNA and corresponding samples with in vivo generated natural DNA. Furthermore, the genotype of both artificial and natural samples with profiler plus R yielded full profiles with no anomalies. In order to effectively deal with this problem, we developed an authentication assay which distinguishes between natural and artificial DNA based on methylation analysis of a set of genomic loci in natural DNA. Some loci are methylated and others are unmethylated, while in artificial DNA, all loci are unmethylated. The assay was tested on natural and artificial blood samples. saliva, and touch surfaces with complete success. Adopting an authentication assay for casework samples as part of the forensic procedure is necessary for maintaining the high credibility of DNA evidence in the judiciary system. What?
Whoa, CH. That's wild. Oh my god.
That is wild, but just
they can clone your DNA.
yeah, but they make it sound like it's super easy, like you could go in your garage and get this done, but is it really that easy? You know what I mean? Super strange.
Molecular
I
cloning.
definitely want to look into this more for sure.
Yeah, his life is ruined.
Here, I'll post
unfortunately.
I'm going to post the Discord. Hang on. Hang on.
Oh my gosh, you changed your picture on Discord to the taped eyebrows.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Of course.
If you guys want to see the taped eyebrows, go to Discord. By the way, I did post the link to the Delphi memorandum in the Discord.
Wait for it.
You're just going to click every link.
Yeah, I don't remember where it is. I have an invite code that's supposed to like never expire. Hang on. I think I'm in the wrong area actually.
That's what I'm saying. Discord is
There we go.
way too complicated.
Wait, there we go.
What? That's one that expires, though. There we go. Wait, no. Go to expire after and see if you can... Never. There you go.
Yeah.
That is ridiculously complicated.
Yeah. Okay, here we go, guys. Bam. There we go. Okay. So this is crazy. This is super crazy. I still was curious to find the ISP lab that does the walkthrough. I really wanted to see the walkthrough and what it looks like. Did you not?
Discord link in the chat, Ashley. What did you ask me?
Wait, what did I ask you?
I don't know.
What?
Oh no.
I wanted to see the walkthrough of the Idaho State Police Forensics
like
lab.
he said you could?
Yeah.
But then they don't have like anything on the website.
Wait, what do we got here? Oh, all these are like 2 years ago. Look, Crime Lab, Nampa, Idaho.
What? I don't think that's it. This is nothing like what we've seen in the past. You're talking about the walkthrough. Their website, just Google Idaho State Police Forensic Laboratory, go to the Idaho State Police website or Idaho State website. There's got to be a link on there somewhere.
There's not. Idaho State Police Forensic Lab. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, Jaira said you can. She did it. She's going to email the link right now.
Okay. Awesome.
Ashley said she tagged us on Twitter
All
to help
right.
make a list of facts. Pertaining to the Koberger case, Ashley?
That's awesome.
Yeah, the Discord server would be good for that too. You can also use it on desktop if you have a computer.
What? Oh, there it is. Okay, hang on. Hang on.
Violet, are you asking if Discord's like Zoom? What the heck was that noise?
Something outside, I think.
It's more like a chat. A lot of gamers used it, and now everyone uses it. It's just a chat. There are voice hangouts where you could like just sit there and like talk on like a microphone, like on your phone. But it's like a chat.
Yeah.
It's like a voice chat.
Yeah.
I have never done it yet.
Yeah.
But
we were thinking of doing it for the stream and stuff. Okay. So, expenses and revenue.
yeah, we're all learning together. Me, Amanda, J Ray, all very confused, okay? But we're learning how to use Discord together.
Oh, wow. What is that? Like a 10% increase annually?
What's the Stack app? Substack. Substack has a lot of really good different people posting to it, but we don't have a Substack. Chief asked about the University of Idaho, University of Phoenix buy.
We
Have we
covered that a
posted
little
that?
bit. Yeah.
Did we post that video?
I think so, but we just haven't gone any deeper on that
Yeah.
topic because we're waiting to see what comes of it. Now, politicians and everyone was talking about how bad of an idea it is, how they should stay away from it, how they should walk away from that deal, that they're setting themselves up for failure. And it looked like they were going to go ahead with it anyways, which in my opinion is crazy. You're almost like creating enemies doing that, you know, when your politicians are suggesting you don't. I don't know why.
I mean, I think they did it to try. I think it's for money. I think it's for money reasons. It makes it so that it basically gives them, you know, the ability to have students anywhere, and that is a lot of money. The projected numbers on it, like they're estimating they'll make, how much was it? Like it was the same amount that they'd have to pay in the loans is how much they'd be making every year.
Mm-hmm. So it didn't cost them anything, basically.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out how to use Discord, and we were going to make a members, like for the members, a members only one, so that like maybe you guys could like hop on here and talk.
We will.
Yeah, that's a plan. We just don't know how to link it yet. Or did you figure that out?
I can make it. I just haven't had time to do it yet.
Okay.
I'm trying to find this video, this walkthrough.
Yeah, that whole thing is interesting though. And we did cover it on the podcast. I think there's a video out there about it.
Strange.
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do?
He said that there was a video of a walkthrough and
J Ray sent the link. Go to contact.
of the video.
Yeah, she sent the video of the walk or the link to the walkthrough.
Oh,
Thank you, J Ray.
yes.
Brendan's over here struggling.
Oh, is this what we were watching earlier here?
Oh, you just didn't get far enough in the video?
Okay, here.
Is that what it is? Keep going. See if it's on. That's definitely not it.
No, that's not. But maybe it's this one that J Ray sent. I'm not sure.
It's the same thing.
No, it's the same guy. Huh. Yeah, that's really strange. That is really strange.
Did they take it down, J Ray? I'm confused.
Huh. All right. What was the other Idaho topic that I wanted to talk about? There was another one that we were thinking about talking about. So the DNA is an incredible topic. And oh man, one thing. So for anybody that's on here, you guys, this is our Twitter handle. It's not, this handle is the only one because it doesn't have enough characters for it to be Thought Riot Podcast. The only. Okay. Hey, did you guys see the short? How funny that was? Watch. Make sure you go comment on it. Wait.
What are you doing?
Starting it over. This was so quick.
3 billion of those base pairs, okay?
That's amazing.
But, and this is a huge but,
I love big butts.
and I cannot lie.
Yes.
Okay, 3 billion of those base pairs, okay?
That's amazing.
But,
I thought it was
But,
good.
and this is a huge,
We were like on the same wavelength there, man. Just finish the sentence.
What were you thinking about butts when you said that?
And I can't lie.
J Ray said, hold on, that
Okay.
she's gonna send another. But Trisha made an interesting comment up here. Hey Trisha. Did you know U of I wrecked 55 million from the state of agriculture a week before the murders?
That's strange. So, is that uncommon, or is it an annual payment, or is it a every 5-year payment? You should look that up. At least write that on the notes so that we can dig into that a little bit deeper.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's see if there's anything on here. So, Idaho State Forensics Lab Tour. No.
Yeah, everyone's saying that financially
The
it
number
was a
of
super
fentanyl
bad
cases
idea
across-
for them to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make sense. They're going to add a whole bunch of problems, but you guys, their numbers are way down still. They have not bounced back like normal. Their year over year student body is down like over 20%. So if I was the college, I would be concerned too. But if you can set up your loans in a situation where essentially you're getting this business for free, because part of the deal is that you get given this, let's just pretend that their annual cost is 1.5 mil. Obviously it's way more than that. but let's just say it's 1.5 mil, and they get that in income from the student enrollment. Then they just take that 1.5 and put it directly back into the payment of that school, and it doesn't cost anything. I think they just wanted it there as backup. I think that they were having some major concerns thinking about the police force there and their capabilities and what they're able to do. Wow. So this has like
Nothing.
Across Idaho is
J-Ray
increasing
just sent it.
significantly. But what happens to those
walkthrough.
drugs once they're seized? KPVI News that works for you, journalist Kylie Gibson answers that question
Look,
in a special report. Kylie.
this is
Thanks,
actually
Misty.
it.
I spoke
Yeah,
with the
I
director
found
of the
that
Idaho
earlier.
State Police
You
Forensic
did?
Lab,
Yeah.
who gave me an exclusive tour of the lab
Why
and
don't
its
you play
process.
because I didn't see anything in there that
Across
was
Idaho, the rise in fentanyl cases and overdose deaths has increased significantly. But what happens?
Something we can do with our narcotics if we can, field test it.
okay. So let's get on this.
Oh, and now you get. Wait a minute.
What?
Page not found. ISP page not found. Is that for the walkthrough, J-Ray? Like the actual walkthrough?
Okay, let's see this.
We won't need a
Walkthrough.
presumptive positive test, so somebody can be charged or arrested with this. If we can't do that, or we don't do that at the time, we bring him back to the department. He gets weighed, documented by photographs, and put in reports, and then we package it for the lab.
There are 3 forensic processing labs across the state of Idaho, one in Coeur d'Alene, one in Meridian, and one here in Pocatello. Once it gets to the lab,
So start to finish, it's going to come into our front office area, be taken in by our evidence staff. Then it will be transferred to an analyst. All of this done through a secure chain of custody. We have to make sure that the evidence passes person to person or person to a facility, so that we know exactly where that evidence is at all times.
Okay.
When it gets to the analyst, they will do,
Is DNA handled that same way? Because they're talking about dope here, right? But
Yeah.
is DNA
to a
handled?
facility, so that we know exactly where that evidence is at all times. When it gets to the analyst, they will do, usually they'll do some presumptive. Start to finish, it's going to come into our front office area, be taken in by our evidence staff. Then it will be transferred to an analyst. All of this done through a secure chain of custody. We have to make sure that the evidence
Okay,
passes person
J-Ray.
to person or person to a facility, so that we know exactly where that evidence is at all times. When it gets to the analyst, they will do, usually they'll do some presumptive tests, some screening
Hello,
tests on that
Moonvale.
to give them an idea of what it might be. And then they'll do some
Welcome.
instrumental tests to be able to determine exactly what it is. Those are what we call confirmatory tests.
and to do that testing, they use.
So we have a lot of really expensive equipment here in this laboratory. We've invested millions of dollars recently. We have what we call GCMS, gas chromatograph mass spectrometer instruments. We use those quite a bit. Those are generally used when they're mixed substances. It takes a little bit longer than some of the other instruments that we have, but specifically to fentanyl, generally those are the instruments that we're going to be using for solid dose drugs.
Once the testing has identified what the drug is, it is packaged up and sent back to the submitting law enforcement agency. In Bannock County alone, 134 people died from an opioid overdose in 2019. In 2020, that number was 164. And last year, 353 people died of an overdose, a 163% increase in just 3 years. The Pocatello Forensic Lab alone has seen a significant increase in fentanyl coming into their lab.
This laboratory has seen 410. You can expect that this is one of our smaller laboratories. So the Meridian laboratory is certainly seeing more cases than that. Coeur d'Alene also seeing, maybe the same number of cases. So statewide, there's a lot of cases out there. And we were seeing in the tens several years ago. So this has been dramatic increase in fentanyl.
And local law enforcement agencies are seeing other drugs being mixed with fentanyl.
Meth and the fentanyl.
So, okay, I'm glad you said that. And
Read the comment out loud.
yep.
remember.
So right now, the state of Idaho does not have any laws requiring evidence to be preserved in a murder case. This means legally it can be destroyed. So I'm glad you said that. So the newest video that I brought to the podcast this week, which is the pre-recorded podcast, which I'm trying really hard to have this done so that we can go over it tomorrow. Worst case situation, we're going to go over it on Wednesday. Okay. But it is a deep dive into like DNA and like how that's changed, how many people have been saved by DNA nationally. It's been over 600 people have been saved, like 10s, 20s, 30s, a whole bunch have been taken off of death row. Okay. Now, while I was doing the research, I was looking into, okay, well, how does that necessarily work? How does a criminal know if there was DNA involved in their case? What if they want to get their DNA tested again? And what really sucks in those situations is you have to fit this perfect storyline, like check every box to be able to have the DNA in a case retested. Exactly like what you're saying, CH, where they can get rid of that evidence instead of holding it somewhere to be retested at a later time. To me, that sounds criminal. That sounds criminal to me. Why wouldn't we keep this DNA that has convicted someone to life behind bars just in case something changed, just in case something happened? And did you guys know too? Well, I'll save it. I'll save it for the conversation that we'll have later. But do you feel like that's right? That they can just destroy it?
No.
Me neither.
Because you have somebody who, like Gabriel Vargas or another expert who can reprocess the DNA, who is really good at it. And because there's a possibility they're not getting it right. There's a possibility they could read somebody's DNA and it be wrong. It'd be the totally wrong person. It depends on, how good of a sample it is. If it is degenerated in any kind of way, if it is mixed with any other person's DNA, anything like that, it can come up as a totally wrong person.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, you guys, every DNA profile is submitted at a percentage of likelihood. So what's really interesting is, you had the FBI came out and said that, hey, Brian Koberger is connected to this DNA out of a 1 in 5.37 octillionth of a chance. Okay. That's essentially as good as you can get. That's literally impossible. That's not a possible number. That's not realistic. More than likely what they should have came out with and said is like, so there, you guys here, let me pull up a picture. I can't describe it without showing you. Hang on one second. Okay. So this is the bar, right? And I'm not going to go into it any more in depth than this because we're going to be talking on this subject later this week. But this is the bar, right? So it's literally impossible to have a perfect lineup. That is not possible. What they do is come up with a likelihood and chance of it being the person. And yes, they will compare it. They don't have to do it, by eyeballing it anymore like they used to. They used to literally have to put two pieces together under a light table and see which ones match and then give that as evidence. They don't have to do that anymore. But there are no two identical people out there. So when you're working with DNA, you're never going to have a perfect sample. Rarely. You could, I guess, but more than likely some something is going to degenerate pieces of it, whether during the testing, whether it's a half sample, whether it's whatever. So when they end up submitting it to the court, what they end up doing is submitting a percentage hood or one out of whatever, right? And I'll give an example. So there was a case in Florida where they submitted the percentage of likelihood to the judge, and it was literally 1 in 2. So half of the people on Earth could have been this DNA profile.
So you mean 50%?
Yeah. A 1 in 2 chance. 1 out of every 2 people will match this DNA profile based on the information that I have currently. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good night, Riddler. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Good night, Riddler.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. They can keep 30-year-old DNA
6.66 October. That's fine.
a cold case. Why not preserve them all?
So they have very strict laws around retesting DNA. It was really depressing looking into that, honestly. When I was reading it, I had no idea. I am not an expert in DNA. I knew basically what I learned in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever grade, right? So I had to reteach myself all these things again that I had forgot or didn't know about, since there's been a bunch of evolution in DNA technology, the different test types, all that good stuff. But to find out that the laws are set up in a way where criminals can't request a secondary test from a lab of their choosing, or they aren't allowed to pay for it. Like, you can't, let's say one of you got convicted based on DNA evidence and you didn't do it, right? And the state is holding this evidence and they're like, no, we don't let people test again within a 6-month period, within a year period, within a 5-year period. Your family can't come forward and say, that's okay, that's cool, state, I got it, I'm going to pay for it. We're going to pick the lab. We just need you to securely release it and ship it and get it sent over to that lab. We're going to cover all the costs. They will not do it. So depressing, dude.
Yeah,
so
it
depressing.
absolutely is. And that's the point. That is the whole point, Amanda. If that number is bigger than the number of people on Earth. The octillion
like
number.
Collectively.
Right, that's what she's saying. Yeah.
Every person that's ever been born on the earth, we aren't even half that. We aren't even a quarter of that. We aren't anywhere close to that. Here, let me show you guys what an octillion is.
Okay, yes. And I think Ann Taylor is a BA too.
Here. So this is it, you guys.
I hope she really kills it.
It's 53700000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000 oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. What am I at? 1, 2. So million, billion, trillion, quad. So 5. So I need 3 more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That is the number, you guys, right there. Do you see this? Do you see how absurd that is?
It's tiny, but yeah, it's really long.
That is it. What? That's insane.
Hey, I don't want to go too far off subject, but Anne asked if we saw the cows. We haven't checked the email this weekend because we've been really busy with editing and everything of the podcast, but I just checked to see your cows, and there's a little baby cow, and
Oh,
it's so cute.
it is. That's awesome.
Just a mama
You
and
know,
a baby
Anne-
cow. I'm so glad they get to be together because at farms and stuff, a lot of times they take the baby away from the mom,
Yeah.
and it makes me so sad.
You know, Annie has some haunted places right at her house too.
Well, that's what she's saying, that you can
Yeah.
hear screaming in cars in a tunnel that aren't there. Gosh, that's terrifying, Anne.
Yeah.
Spooky.
This is This is such an insane number. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand how they came up with that number. And I'm not going to spill the beans, you guys, but that video that's going to be coming out, I mathematically proved. Now, I guess I should say I'm not an expert, so maybe there's other variables and factors that I'm not taking into account. But if there's not, I was able to mathematically prove that this is impossible. This number, it's impossible.
Wait, they just wandered into your yard, Anne? The cows?
Okay, so where were we on?
Well, I'm glad you're not scared of the ghosts, and that's good. I would be freaked out unless I knew they were like nice ghosts.
Oh yeah, right here. Okay. I want to.
One of the biggest things that we deal with right now.
Okay.
Sometimes fentanyl can be intermixed with the meth. That's not uncommon right now. But we've also had marijuana that has turned up and has tested positive for fentanyl, as well.
That's bad.
Most of the fentanyl that we deal with is in pills. So we're looking for pills and, the byproducts of those.
Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that was originally used as an elephant tranquilizer. It is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times more potent than morphine.
Our concern is that this is on the street. When we're seeing it come in from the officers, this is stuff that's available. This is stuff that they're confiscating out of cars and out of schools and other things. So when that's going on, and we know that we're only getting a representative sample of what's out there, we're only getting what the police have confiscated from people. So certainly there's a wider distribution of this stuff than we even know. These things are not being manufactured by pharmaceutical companies, for example. They're being manufactured illicitly. And so they have no quality control mechanisms. There's no expectations of quality control. And so you have no idea how much is in a pill or in a powder. It could be a lot, could be a little, but it's certainly enough to kill you.
For more information about the fentanyl crisis, you can visit DEA.gov. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Kylie Gibson. Back to you in the studio, Misty.
All right. Thank you very much, Kylie. And to see more of our...
What? This?
Yeah.
They said they were going to set up classes for self-defense.
Vigilance and stalking awareness. Also, President Green stated they would purposely carry the students' legacy, the new classes. So are you saying they're setting all that stuff up right now, or they haven't done it yet?
That's kind of strange. I always feel really weird when people make it seem like it should be potential victims' problem to train themselves to save themselves. You know what I mean? I always feel weird about that. Just like with women who are suggested, well, like get a self-defense class in case a guy ever tries to do this or tries to do that. Or how about we just make sure guys don't do that by making their sentences harsher and not letting people off, putting a bigger emphasis on research and investigation into these claims that come out.
Okay, so this is about the money. It was the largest grant in U of I history. Did you find anything about them setting up the classes, Chief? So that's the classes that were in question, I guess. Is that what the grant is supposed to go towards? The Coeur d'Alene Tribal Natural Resource Department and the Nez Perce Tribe Land Services Division partners in the project, helping test several climate-smart conservation practices on tribal. What does that have to do with it?
We'll have to dig into it, you guys.
From an article on the grant. Okay.
That's something that I know very little about. I know there's some details around Coeur d'Alene that I don't know about. There's a few topics out there that we just haven't covered, like Enon Harsh and Coeur d'Alene. Yeah.
So J. Ray said she saw a video where they use that number, the octillion number, and explain why they use it. I'll try to find it after the live.
That would be super helpful. The
Yeah.
DNA video is already edited, so we'll bring it out. But if I can explain further on why that number is real, that would be amazing. Because based on everything I've gathered, it's not possible.
Yeah. Okay. Trisha said she's been looking up things about the grant to see how they're going to keep the payments up. Good point.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those. What are they cashing in again? Their cash bonds or whatever.
Something they're cashing in something to get the money for the University of Phoenix purchase.
Yeah. How many bonds do these guys have? How many? Makes me want to look. Hang on. Let's see. University of Idaho. Wait, this is the right school, right?
Yeah. U of I.
It doesn't say. I wonder if that's the way that they get around having to share and propose and post what their overall income is. So the University of Idaho got the green light from the state's Board of Education Thursday to pursue $550 million acquisition of the University of Phoenix, a for-profit whose enrollment has plunged amid chronic allegations of illegal recruiting and marketing practices. Huh.
That was a lawsuit for University of Phoenix?
Yeah, 191 million.
That's crazy.
Yep. Over misleading advertising and so 191 million settlement in 2019 with the Federal Trade Commission over accusations that it produced misleading advertisements. I've known a few people that got their law degree from University of Phoenix.
Sounds like that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as long as you get barred, I guess that's what matters, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, we're gonna get hit with that stupid music.
Which is so silly because it's probably a copyright free.
Welcome to Idaho State Police
song.
Forensic Services. Today we're going to host you on a tour of our Meridian facility. We hope that you learn something as we talk to our scientists about what they do in forensic science.
This is it.
Yep. Oh, thanks, the Heather Coalition. Yeah, I figured that out
Heathen.
after we talked about the Heathen.
We're here in the Meridian Laboratory
I
of the Idaho
did
State
see
Police
that.
Forensic
Asatruers, not Asatruists, after we talked about it.
Somebody while researching the FYI, Norse pagans are sometimes called Asatruers, but we don't. Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to present it right. All right.
services. And we're talking with the laboratory manager. Can you tell us a little bit about the laboratory system and how it operates?
Idaho State Police Forensic Services is comprised of 3 laboratories.
Yes.
We are a laboratory system. The laboratory in Coeur d'Alene performs controlled substance analysis, toxicology, fire debris analysis, firearms analysis, as well as blood and breath alcohol analysis. We also have a laboratory in Pocatello. That laboratory performs controlled substance analysis, toxicology analysis, as well as blood and breath alcohol analysis. Here in the Meridian laboratory, we perform controlled substance analysis, blood and breath alcohol analysis, as well as latent fingerprint.
How far is Meridian from Moscow?
Analysis and DNA testing. We are also the state's DNA database laboratory. Our laboratories accept evidence from every police agency, prosecuting attorney,
Wait, I
and
missed
public.
that. Sorry, guys.
So the
Rewind.
state's DNA database.
So this is the only one that does DNA. Got it. So controlled substance, blood alcohol, breath alcohol, latent print, DNA testing, DNA database.
Laboratory. Our laboratories accept evidence from every police agency, prosecuting attorney, and public defender in the state of Idaho. We can accept evidence in a couple of different ways. An agency can ship the evidence via a courier such as UPS, Federal Express, or certified mail. When the customer comes in person, they bring their evidence along with their pre-log forms. We are a paperless system, and so the agency actually
315 miles. Look.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out if my computer would work. It was just sitting here spinning the whole time.
As a crow flies. That's what Murdaugh said in trial. Well, you know, like 1.5 miles as a crow flies.
Logs their evidence in from their office, and then when they bring it in, they have a form with a barcode that we scan, and that will automatically pull the evidence up in our system. We then have forensic evidence specialists, and they check that the evidence is in a properly sealed condition.
Though, after looking at this stuff, I almost got sold on it. Like some of the websites that talk about it, I'm like, man, this sounds super cool. This is a super cool religion because it's so open and free. Like that's what I like about it. Like there's and I'm not talking about like the white supremacist side of it. I'm talking about like the real part of it.
I mean, I would hope not. What?
I'm just saying. Like, because that's
white supremacy doesn't have to do with that belief.
No, it has zero to do with it, and it sucks that they've turned it into that in these certain areas of the country, that they have stolen that belief.
I don't think they have.
They've stolen it and perverted it just the way,
No, they have not stolen it and perverted it. They're just perverted. That's it. Like, dude, I grew up a punk rocker with a mohawk, and I had one pair of jeans, you guys. And what's funny is like I came from like middle class, my parents weren't hurting on money or anything like that, but I wanted to be gutter punk. So I had one pair of jeans that I wore for an entire year. That was my goal every day for a year.
Crusty.
The only washing that they ever got was when I jumped into the water with them on. So like, yeah, I don't. I know where I was going now. So, punk rockers in that area, the skinheads took over, like tried taking over punk rock. There was the skinhead punks that had their classic outfit of like the whatever belt loop straps and their Doc Marten suspenders and their Doc Marten boots and no shirt and bald head. Like I wouldn't say in that situation that the racists took over punk and perverted it. It's just it brought perverted people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're totally right. The Heathen Coalition. Yeah, that's so out of context. You're right. They don't refer to it right in there, and in the memorandum, you're right. They don't present Odinism correct in there.
You know me
which
and
is
names.
which is why, and we have an issue with pronouncing names on this show, so I apologize. But that's why we've gone down a different rabbit hole with it now. And that'll be coming soon. This week, we're going to talk about it because we found some really interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff.
Zach Prince, the founder of BlockFi. Is that what you're talking
with
about?
With what we're talking about, you can essentially just leave Odinism out of it with our theory.
Yeah.
With our theory on the Delphi case now, Odinism can just be left out of it.
Yeah. That is, well, I don't know, man. Prison's rough. Prison's rough. I don't feel like you can make a choice in prison. At least like the people that I hung out with that did prison time. Luckily, you guys, I never did any real time. I never got in trouble for anything serious or anything like that, even though I should have. I should have all day long. I should have. But I had friends that did real prison time. And in California, you don't have a choice. There is the Sureños, there is the Norteños, there is the blacks, there is the skins, and then there is the woods. And you have to pick. You don't have a choice. Like, if you want to live, if you want to get out of prison, you have to group up with somebody. It's so unfortunate and traumatic, man. You have people that are coming out that, what if somebody got falsely convicted and put into a California prison system, and they have now become a criminal because they get put into prison, don't have a choice but to associate with prisoners in that way, talked down to by the guards all day long, every day, not there to rehab them back into society, but to hold them down and to train them to be, class A criminals. They're going to come out changed. I knew a guy that was an alcoholic, and he had 3 or 4 DUIs, and on his 4th DUI, it does happen every day. You're right, J Ray. I know. It drives me crazy. So he was a drunk, and he got 4 DUIs and got sentenced to 5 years. I'm pretty sure in California, it's 2 for 1. So as long as you do your time, good behavior, you get 2 days for every one after the first 3 months or after the first year. I think, I could be wrong, you guys. I haven't lived in California in a decade, but so he went in there, and his issue was going to the bar and drinking and then driving home, like not making good decisions once he was drunk. Okay. He went into prison and had to click up with a racist gang, the Woods. And the Woods are like the less racist version of the Skins. Everyone's white when you're a Wood. But you're not like a Nazi, you know what I mean? It's different. There's 2 factions of white people, and they're still all criminals. And in there, you have to put in dues if you want to be a part of one of these crews, and there's no way around it. So he ended up getting an additional year just so he wouldn't die, because he did not have a choice. This guy, all he did is drink. All he did is drive drunk, which is bad, don't get me wrong, but to go inside and be forced to stab somebody, otherwise you're at risk of dying, and then not even getting out in half of the time like you should have, but serving a whole extra year on top of your 5. What? That's insane. That's the California prison system. Welcome to hell, you know?
CH said, Google the Danish prison cell. It's like an apartment. it's not anything like what we have here. I know that.
I wish we did things like
Yeah,
some of the
'cause-
European countries
Yeah, because
do.
they actually rehabilitate
They
people.
do.
They put them in there. They have them work. They have an apartment. You know what I mean?
They teach them schedules. They teach them how to manage a real life,
a healthy life without criminal activity and drugs and everything else. Like they get a
Agreed.
mental health help. So like, yeah, I would be more comfortable like having people from prison back out on the streets if we did it like that. But a lot of people, I'm like, keep them in there for like a really long time or forever because they're not going to get the help to be a better person.
Correct. They do treat them like humans. And the thing is too, like it always comes down to nature versus nurture. There are going to be people out there that can't be rehabilitated. We understand that. We understand what sociopaths are. We understand what psychopaths are. We understand that it comes to a point where people aren't going to be able to turn their life around. Excuse me. But for the people that want to turn their life around, that had parents that weren't present, that got woven into a bad group, that didn't know how to manage their life. Maybe they were someone like me that had ADHD and didn't know how to learn how to manage life, or maybe they had it more severe, and couldn't manage their life the normal way and have a schedule and be able to go to work and like all these other things, and got thrown into that bad life. And instead of going to jail and seeing therapists, psychologists, having men's groups, things like that, and then being taught how to manage your life on a schedule where they expect your bed and place to be cleaned up, they expect you to make it to your meals on time, they expect you to go out to work in the yard or wherever on time and do everything like 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 a.m., whatever. They get out and they know how to manage their life then at that point. It's literally rehabilitation. Ours is criminal training.
Thank you, Michael, and hello. Welcome to the
Yeah,
chat.
appreciate that.
I know there are several other countries that have way better dignified, better prison systems than us, all the way around.
Joey Watkins, I just covered a case for one of the stories that I was editing where this guy did 5 years. Oh, the Innocence Project's amazing. Where this guy did 5 years for RAP. And he was finally let out. But dude, there better be a lawsuit following that, because if somebody has a career they're working towards, if somebody has a job, if somebody has anything that they've worked to build in life and create something, and it's taken away for something that they didn't even do, 5 years can end up being 15. What happens to credit? What happens to all these things that
your
matter in
personal
life?
Connections with people, like literally
Yeah.
everything you have in life. It's horrible.
Agreed.
That's pretty
Agreed.
wild, J. Ray. False allegations. She's talking about her boyfriend.
Yeah, who doesn't like bad boys?
Yeah, a lot of people are wrongfully convicted, but I think see, that's something that actually I heard. Who was saying that?
What?
I think it was a defensive. No, was it Vinny from Court TV? Somebody was saying that. I think it was him saying that he said some percentage of most of the people who are brought to trial or are charged are guilty and are found guilty.
Sure.
And the percentage is like kind of it's really high, which I'm like, I hope that's a good statistic. I hope that's a good one, because I'm not sure. Are they actually guilty? Like how skewed is that statistic in actuality? What percentage of the people that are found guilty are actually innocent? I've never looked that up before.
Well,
and do we even know the reality of that?
Well, no, there is no way to find that out because of the laws of what I was just talking about earlier with DNA and testing, and how some states literally get rid of evidence to where it can't be tested later on down the line. Some states have really, really tight, crude laws around getting your case retried or getting your evidence looked at again or anything like that. So, yeah, we don't know. You're never going to get an honest number, you know?
Yeah, look. That's a funny comment.
Yeah.
For real, though.
Of custody are signed, and that the information that was entered into that pre-log system matches what is on the evidence. Then they will enter it into our system. A barcode label will be generated and applied to each item of evidence.
No
Then
way.
that is
Ian.
used to track the evidence everywhere it goes in our system. The first stop will be one of our
40%
evidence
Don't doubt
vaults.
it.
We
of
have a
people
room
that
temperature
Innocent
vault, a
Project
refrigerator
cleared had
vault,
either
and a
confessed
freezer
or
vault.
pled guilty.
So for example, fingerprint evidence should be stored at room temperature, whereas DNA evidence is typically stored refrigerated or frozen. This is our room temperature vault. Every shelf in this vault has its
Cameras?
own identification. So when an evidence specialist places an
Did they
item
show
in the
cameras?
vault, it's scanned to that location, and they
No, I don't see any cameras. Tell me if
We
you guys
can't
see
really
any cameras. And two, all they did was have a key, not even a code that can be tracked. They should have codes on that door, and every employee has their own code. And when you go in there, you punch your code in, opens up the door, and it saves that.
Say who doesn't like bad boys again, but say it slowly.
Don't make me laugh. I'm not going to be able to say it.
Okay.
Who doesn't like bad boys?
know exactly which shelf in that vault that item is located on.
Okay.
And we track the item in that way while it is in the laboratory. Every location is tracked in our chain of custody. When an analyst is ready to check out an item of evidence for testing, one of our evidence specialists will retrieve the item from the vault and place it into one of our pass-through lockers. Ready to check, and we track the item in that way while it is in the location. So when an evidence specialist places an item in the vault, it's scanned to that location, and they know exactly which shelf in that vault that item is located on.
Laughing right
and we track.
Focusing on cameras.
Why? Because of my...
Because you're who doesn't like bad boys.
Yeah, what about it?
Michael, though.
I commit.
He said at least they make the employees scan their IDs to create an entrance log. Like, yeah.
So, but... Did I miss something though? Because the only ID I saw scanned was in the beginning when they were checking the evidence into the computer, and I'm not as worried about that part because I feel like that makes sense, being able to get that into the computer. I'm more worried, like, who can walk in here? Can a police officer walk in here? Can, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to know who has the availability to this, you know? Yes, they should. Agreed. I agree. And so I'm a big advocate for police body cams at all times, literally all times. I don't think that you should ever be able to turn off audio and video. Like, if you need to turn off audio because you're fighting with your girl or something's going on, okay, turn off audio and leave video on. You know what I mean? If you...
That's when you're sitting in the car doing nothing else, though, not literally like doing your police work, like in the field. Like, there should...
I mean, they're going to be on shift and being able to talk to people.
I know, but you're not going to be there with, like, you know, a suspect or...
I don't care. I think it needs to be on all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm saying when they're in the car and arguing with their girlfriend, like, that seems okay, compared to, like, being out of the car, talking to a suspect, a witness, anything like that. Like, that's way different.
Both of those should be on, period. But I'm just I feel like explaining that it should even be on when they're not encountering a suspect is like a good example of how serious we should be with police officers and being recorded and audio and all that good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if we expect them to do it at all times, then obviously when they're encountering a suspect, both of them need to be on. Otherwise, it needs to be like severe accountability and harsh write up, sent home. What I don't know how police are held accountable, but whatever it is, should be taken seriously.
Yeah. I just highlighted this because Trisha, yes, 11 hours of being drilled. You will say anything to get away.
Test. Are we good?
Can you hear us now?
Exactly. Literally exactly. It should never, ever, 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 ever be off.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys. What was I even saying? Oh, I feel like that was highlighted really well, Trisha, in the Dr. Moore case. The way he was coerced into confessing for something he for real did not do and was then later exonerated of.
Yeah.
And is now suing. I feel like that was like a really, really good case to look at for what they do to try to coerce and force a confession that I think they
Not
knew.
try, they did.
They did,
Yeah.
but I think the whole time they knew he wasn't guilty, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think they had to have known that he wasn't
Ashley
guilty.
said it's cutting.
Is it still? Can someone?
Where is the plug? Like, does it need to be pushed in?
No. Is it still cutting in and out?
Track the item in that way while it is in the laboratory. Every location is
But
tracked
Michael
in our
said he
chain
meant
of
they should
custody.
scan their IDs in the storage area.
When an analyst is ready to check out an item of evidence for testing, one of our evidence specialists will retrieve the item from the vault and place it into one of our pass-through lockers. The analyst can then enter the code that the evidence specialist assigned and retrieve their items of evidence. They are then ready to take them back to the laboratory for testing.
Why does it go into that holding area at all? I don't get it. Am I missing something?
One of the things we're extremely pleased with here at the State Police is that all of our staff are required to be certified in the discipline that they're performing casework. Our analysts have an initial training period, and then when they're finished with that training program, they are required to maintain certification throughout their career so that they can testify in courts all around Idaho.
Yeah, she did, Michael. You're right.
Thank you for joining us on our tour of Idaho State Police Forensic Services. We hope that you learned something and found it informative.
Yep. And he asked.
We hope that you learned of our commitment to sound science and serving the citizens of the state of Idaho.
All right, so the sound is off on the video?
What the heck?
I don't think so.
Here, let me.
Yeah, log on.
DNA technology has greatly.
I am logged on. You
Well,
can
turn it
try
on.
refreshing your browser.
Turn it on.
Just make sure you switch back to live chat because it'll probably set you back to top chat, so you can see all of the comments.
I'm on my phone. Hang on. Test.
I don't think so. DNA technology.
Okay, yeah.
Is it good or is it off?
I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
People have been hating on us lately. Other content creators.
Other
'cause
content creators.
Trisha just said, are they being tagged?
I don't know if it's content creators.
For sure. Who else would do it?
I don't know. Some people just go out there and report if they don't like something you say in a video.
No, it's confirmed some.
Oh, okay.
Has greatly
I didn't know that.
influenced the advancement of law
Yeah,
enforcement
we've gotten
everywhere. In Idaho,
is it mass reporting or is it just like a few reports?
I
You
don't know.
You can't tell the difference.
No, but it's okay. We just aren't gonna lower ourselves down to that. I even know who they are. I'm just.
There's some people out there that just want to push other people down to like get ahead.
It's that idea of
Yeah.
where like, you know, you can put rats in a pan of hot water or whatever, and by habit they try and climb on each other to keep themselves alive. It's that same kind of idea, and we don't
Except there's no hot water in this case.
Yeah, and I mean, we just aren't going to engage in that, man. Even though I know who they are and doing it, even if I came across them like in real life or they wanted to talk, dude, I would treat them as nice as anybody else. I'm not going to let anybody spend time in a negative way in my brain. That's my decision whether I'm going to give you that kind of power over me. And I'm just not willing to give people that kind of power over me. You know what I mean? Because if the content is good and we have a great time with all of our community, then it will grow. There's no way it's not going to grow.
Yeah.
I think we're making good content. I feel like our community believes we're making good content. So we're doing good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Violet said it happened to the lawyer you know too. Interesting. I didn't know that.
And then he blew up, probably.
Yeah, he did.
People keep saying to us like, what is the algorithm will catch up, and then all of a sudden, you know, it just happens. So
and
that'd
Ian,
be cool.
Ian, I have seen that too, where fans of other creators like have a misplaced sense of loyalty and they get aggressive. I've seen it with tons of people. That's kind of what I was hinting at.
Yeah.
People are weird. And, you know, there is like this holier than thou idea in the true crime community.
Yeah.
And that's not us. I'm not going to pretend that I'm holier than thou.
No.
We're all very flawed people.
I believe in karma,
Everybody.
man. And I love all content creators because, again, I think I've said this before, but I feel like it's a type of art, you know, that you're making with people that enjoy watching it, and hopefully they're making it for the people that are watching it, you know, and I'm going to appreciate everybody equally. And I just would rather leave a positive history behind me than a negative one, you know?
And a lot of the people that I mean, a few of the people that I know are like, you know, having issues. I watch them and like them. Like, it just seems silly.
We appreciate that, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. And all of you. Appreciate it.
Luckily, we got YouTube contacts.
Individuals convicted of felony crimes are required to give a DNA sample.
Thank you, guys. We do it for you guys.
For upload into the combined DNA index system, also known as CODIS. CODIS is a computer software program for local, state, and nationally influence the advancement of law enforcement everywhere. In Idaho, individuals convicted of felony crimes are required to give a DNA sample for upload into the combined DNA index system, also known as CODIS. CODIS is a computer software program for local, state, and national DNA databases. Matches, or hits, in the database can link cases together or provide an identity to an unknown perpetrator. Collection of DNA samples is very important to ensure that DNA profiles of sufficient quality are obtained for upload into the DNA database. Prior to collecting a sample, make sure the offender does not have a DNA sample on file by checking their criminal history or the sex offender registry in ILETS. Also, to ensure quality results and no mistakes, please perform the entire procedure on only one subject at a time. First, you need to have an evidence tape sealed collection kit. This is provided by ISP Forensic Services. Make sure the kit is properly sealed with evidence tape. Open the kit by breaking the evidence seal and remove the contents of the collection kit.
So, I'm assuming once Brian was arrested and they got the okay to test his DNA, because police aren't allowed to just arrest somebody and forcibly take your DNA. That's your body, that's your person's, you know?
Right.
So, step one, put on gloves.
Right, see?
Serious.
I'm kind of surprised that wasn't included, considering this is like supposed to be an educational how-to type of video.
I mean, have you guys all seen the pictures of the 1122 people that are on site collecting evidence with their face masks down to their throats and their head things pulled back?
No.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It looks messy. It looks messy. Now, I'll give all law enforcement and public type servants the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they did all the important stuff already and they were just going back through it, picking up stuff. I don't know. Maybe they were picking up trash. There's lots of reasons why they could have their masks pulled down and exposing the crime scene to their own DNA and cross-contamination. It's totally possible, but it still doesn't look good. You know what I mean? It still looked really, really, really bad.
Directions for collecting the sample are also included on the tri-fold sample card. We'll take you through them step by step.
Wait, what?
I feel like that could cause cross-contamination. You have to open the bag. Maybe the other two items are sealed. So you open the bag, put the gloves on, and then unseal the two important parts to collect the swab, put it in the sealed package, and then close it. That makes sense. That could be it.
Step 1. Open the tri-fold card and fill in the information requested. Please pay special attention to the state ID number and include it if possible. If you're collecting a sample from a registered sex offender, please write SOR on the outside front of the tri-fold card. Step 2. The next step in sample collection will be to fingerprint the individual. Fingerprints are used for identity confirmation. The card has an area for the fingerprint to be taken. Use the ink strip included in the kit. Peel apart the ink strip, starting from the clear plastic end. Place the individual's right thumb onto the ink strip and transfer their print to the card by pressing their finger down lightly on the card. It is important that the fingerprint is clear and readable. You should be able to see the ridges within the print. If the first print is not of good quality, then please take another. The right thumbprint is preferred, but any finger can be used. Just be sure to indicate which finger the print was obtained from. Do not place multiple prints on top of each other. If we receive a collection kit with an unclear fingerprint, you may be asked to collect and send a new kit.
Okay.
A towelette is included for the individual to remove the ink from his or her hand. Step 3.
If you get
now it is time to obtain the DNA sample.
They do all of them.
They do every part of your hand.
Yeah.
I know, because I've had it done.
Yeah.
At this time, you should put gloves on to prevent your DNA from getting on the sample. Gloves are provided in the kit, but you may
was with ink and digital before.
Use your own gloves if you wish. You'll want to leave your gloves on until you finish collecting the DNA sample. First, fill in the offender's name on the FTA card, being careful to leave the card flap down and not touching the inside of the card. Step 4. Remove the foam tip swab from its wrapping, making sure to open it from the plastic.
If they did all that before putting the gloves on,
Yeah.
and like you're touching the same pin, like, and you're touching all the same things you just touched without gloves on.
You could be exposing yourself to cross-contamination. One thing that I was thinking is like they're training people to do it like this, which is a little bit strange. I feel like you should fill everything out and have everything ready and then put the gloves on and then collect the sample and then put it in the secure bottle and then take the gloves off.
Yeah. Like the gloves should be on immediately before collecting the sample, and you don't do anything else with the gloves on until you collect the sample, and then you take them off.
Agreed. I agree.
Yeah, the pen can have DNA on it.
Insert the swab into the individual's mouth between the gum line and cheek. Rub the swab along the inside of the cheek using a fair amount of pressure, sufficient for collection of cheek cells and moistening of the swab with saliva. Repeat on the other side of the mouth with the same swab. The swab can be further moistened by placing it under the tongue. Step 5. Once the swab is adequately moistened, open the flap of the FTA card and press the swab to the inside of the printed circle. Press down firmly, but be careful not to rub the card. Flip the swab over and press it down firmly into the other circle. Again, making sure you do not rub the paper on the card. The FTA cards in the ISP DNA database collection kits are indicating cards. They change from pink to white with the addition of saliva. The color changes quick, as you can see here. Step 6. Once the sample is transferred to the FTA card, the swab can be thrown away. Replace the flap of the FTA card and place the card in the FTA card envelope provided with the tri-fold sample card. The envelope is self-adhesive and should not be licked.
Yeah.
The used ink strip, moist towelette, swab, and any used gloves may now be discarded. Step 7. Return the tri-fold sample card to the outer pre-addressed envelope. Seal the outer envelope with the evidence tape provided.
Yeah, the swab
There's a place on the
has to go,
tape
Michael.
to include your initials.
Why would they throw the swab away?
Yeah, that's super strange, man. What?
Sample collection. Swab. Do not send the swab in with the kit. Do take a readable fingerprint. Do not place the evidence seal on the FTA card or FTA card envelope. Do place the evidence seal on the outer mailing envelope. Do seal the self-adhesive FTA card envelope. Do completely fill out the information on the tri-fold sample card. If you have any questions or need clarification on proper sampling techniques.
Okay. Yeah, we're learning, Violetta. We are.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is good. I want to know. I want to know that I should never go to Idaho.
Right. So CH said where stands on the glove and picks it up.
Welcome to Idaho State Police Forensic Services. Today we're going to host you on a tour of our Meridian facility.
Yeah.
We hope that you learn something as we talk to our scientists about what they do in forensic science.
Yeah, I don't want to go to Idaho either, Michael.
So we're here at the DNA section of the laboratory, and we're here with the laboratory manager, who is also a qualified DNA analyst.
She looks
and we're going to have her give us a little bit of a tour of the facility.
All right, we'll head on in.
I know,
the state lab is the only DNA lab in the state of Idaho. The DNA unit accepts cases in all types of crimes: homicides, sexual assaults, burglaries, aggravated assaults, missing person. The evidence can range from clothing, bedding, swabs from crime scenes to firearms to actual human remains.
One of the issues that's come up in our state recently is processing of sexual assault kits. Can you tell us a little bit about how that process
buccal
goes?
swab. Yes, they did get a buccal swab.
A sexual assault kit is a box that contains swabs
Know about the gun,
collected
too,
from
and the
victims of sexual assault. When the box comes in, the analysts note the packaging, whether it was sealed. They actually examine every single swab that's collected in that kit. Take a cutting of every swab and test for male DNA. Then it's forwarded for DNA analysis.
Wait, so they swab the evidence with that, and
the victim
then
is female and the perpetrator is suspected to be male, they perform what's known as Y screen, essentially looking for male DNA on all of the.
I just want to clarify.
What if the DNA wasn't on that part of the swab?
Wait.
What?
I'm just trying to think to make sure I'm not about to make myself look dumb saying this, but so in that test kit, they had one for each private area, the mouth. So they had four swabs there, and then they just took one blade and cut all four.
Contaminating them all.
That would have cross-contaminated all of them, wouldn't it?
So wait, they swabbed somebody's body in all these different places?
Or is it 4 swabs for one location? I still think you shouldn't cross-contaminate, but is it for show?
Those items. This is a much more sensitive process, which allows us to identify more samples than we were previously, looking for body fluids on those samples, which was more time consuming. DNA analysis is a multi-step process. The first step is an extraction process, breaking open the cell to get the DNA out and separating the DNA from all of the other components that are within our cells. The different chemistries we use are very expensive. They are proprietary. We have to put a lot of time into validating them, making sure they work as they say they're going to work.
You're right. It is from one suspect, but you technically with DNA, you should still do them separate, even though it's from one suspect. For one, it's in each area. So it's mouth, butt, other areas, so you shouldn't cross-contaminate those areas. And for 2, if one of those was cross-contaminated for whatever reason, you don't want to then re-cross-contaminate the other 3. And the only reason I would probably only know that is because of our recent story. So
yeah, thank you, Amanda. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. It helps with the algorithm.
Yeah, hit that like button.
Yep, it was Pennsylvania where they searched the dad's house. And they got many things that I feel like we don't know that much about. Mouth, butt? Question mark?
Yeah, because they said that you have to first swab.
She said maybe I need to be awake next time.
First, you have to swab your butt, then the mouth, in that order.
That we are getting the correct profiles from samples. The next step is the quantitation step, determining how much DNA is present, and that's used really to optimize the downstream process. The chemistry we use determines the amount of DNA and the amount of male DNA, which lets us know if there's any male DNA in the sample. We have a target amount of DNA we're shooting for in each sample, and we will dilute or concentrate the sample.
I think, okay, so Trisha said, shouldn't the DNA be the same no matter where they get it? Say, okay, you were just at home and you gave your husband a kiss, okay? And then you went out and you got assaulted, okay? But the only DNA from that assaulter would be in your pants, okay? Because we saw them swabbing the underwear.
Because they didn't kiss you.
Right.
Yeah.
They'd never touched your mouth, okay? So it's only in the pants. And then you go get tested, and they take the swab from mouth, they take it from everywhere else, and then they do that where they put all the swabs together and cut them all across, then you have the potential problem of male DNA being mixed.
Yeah.
Your
Or
husband's
the
and that guy's,
yes.
and then that could pop up for a totally different guy.
Correct.
Because it's mixed.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they have.
It could decrease the likelihood. It could make it a less reliable sample. There's a lot of things it could do where, based off the research we just did, it should be separate.
Yeah. Bon, the mouth and the butt.
Yeah.
It just sounded funny.
I think J. Ray was saying, you're not supposed to swab your butt and then your mouth. It's supposed to go mouth first, then butt. That's what she's saying. You know, who wants butt in their mouth?
What are you talking about? What's happening? Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, you should be able to join our channel, Violetta. You should be able to.
Oh, you're looking at the membership link.
Oh, the membership link. Okay, hang on.
Well, he'll post it in the chat.
I'm the worst at this. I'm like, we want to grow, and I'm literally like the worst at all of this. Hang on.
Yeah, the dollar symbol.
Where was it last
Amanda,
time?
thanks for saying that. But when I click the dollar symbol, it shows me memberships to be able to join on our end from our channel. But I did have some people saying it wasn't showing up on theirs. It was just showing up for like gifting memberships. So we'll post the link so it's easier, but I don't really know. Is there a difference based on the browser you're using? Is there a difference based on like the mobile app? I don't know. Maybe it is different for different operating systems, and maybe that's why it shows up for me and not other people.
Maybe. It could be. It really could be. Okay, back to... Hey.
Woo! Violet, new member.
Yay.
We really got to make that members only Discord.
Welcome.
So we can have the people being able to hop in.
I will make it probably tomorrow is where I'll make it. Super stoked to have you as a new member. Welcome to the team. And we like to hop on here and have fun. Glad you're here with us and can join us. Yes, you also get all the emotes too, and Malia helped make those emotes.
Helped? I made them.
Yeah.
I didn't just help, I made them.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be making more.
She made all of them. I was thinking like, because you're the one who put them together, layered them. Like you didn't make them by hand, you just created them.
You mean I didn't draw them?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Well, duh.
Yeah, that.
I can't draw a picture of your face that perfectly.
Yeah, I know. Nobody can.
It then goes on to a capillary electrophoresis instrument.
Yes, tin hat.
I gotta make one with his face bigger, with the curly tin hat.
Or the taped eyebrows.
Oh, taped eyebrows emote.
It produces what's called an electropherogram, determining an individual's DNA profile, and it's a graph of peaks. We look at several different locations within a person's DNA, and at each different location, they will have 1 or 2 peaks. The peaks are what they received from their parents.
Oh, and Lulu Love, what's up?
Hey.
A single sample to run through the process because it has to be accompanied by multiple controls, whether you're running 1 sample or 100 samples. I would estimate to be about $1,000 to $1,500 per sample. An analyst could produce that profile in as little as 2 days. We batch samples. This allows us to be more efficient. The batch process for an entire group of samples takes about a week. The DNA casework section accepts evidence from active criminal investigations. The DNA database unit processes samples.
Okay, question. They said that they have multiple, what was the word she used? Multiple, I'm going to have to rewind it.
Estimate to be about 1,000 to 1,500 or 2 peaks. The peaks are what they received from their parents.
Multiple controls. So she said that there has to be multiple controls for the sample to be good. What about a single-use DNA sample with Koberger? And remember, we looked at this, you guys, right here. Did I close it?
Did she say what the controls were?
No, we looked at this right here. Look. The knife sheath was reportedly sent for testing at a startup in Texas after initial testing at the lab in Idaho could not find anything on it.
Jennifer Coffindaffer does not believe that will do much harm to the prosecution's case.
Well, yeah. What would you expect anything else?
No.
I know. But that's interesting, in my opinion. How did they get the controls? How did they verify? How did they check? Is that a reliable DNA sample anymore without any of that additional data?
Yeah, one of the greatest labs in the world. I know, Bon Bon.
It's just strange to me, you guys. And like, I'm not trying to go tin hat and like just doubt everything about everybody and total conspiracy. I literally think 1 or 2 people can cause this messed up of a situation. I think 1 or 2 bad police officers can cause this whole awful situation if it ends up being proven that it is going on what we thought was going on, where it's not a strong case, the evidence wasn't worked properly and or worked backwards, right? 1 or 2 officers could do that whole thing. But what about like with this and the DNA samples? How does it work when there's only a single use DNA? They don't have additional controls. They don't have anything else to
and it's
verify.
Touch DNA too on
Touch
top of
DNA.
It. I wonder if the process is a bit different than she's describing here, because they haven't even
trace.
Yeah, they haven't even touched on touch DNA or trace DNA. They've literally only talked about spit, blood, and semen.
Yeah,
like that's pretty much it.
Direct body.
Yep.
Wait.
Cameras.
Is that touch DNA they're checking for? Look. Yep, they can be, Ashley. Malia's looking up environmental DNA. Someone said that that had some kind of connection.
Okay, pause. So when you look up environmental DNA, what pops up is literally about the environment and how they test like water, soil, stuff like that to test the biodiversity of that environment, seeing like how many species are there and things like that.
Yeah.
But environmental DNA is defined as like skin cells and other things that are, you know, shed off of you know, an organism, an animal or something like that. And when you look up touch DNA, that's exactly what it is. It's skin cells or, you know, whatever is shed off of the person when they touch something. So technically they really are the same thing. It's trace DNA. And it's
so trace DNA falls under the umbrella of environmental DNA, essentially.
Touch or trace DNA falls under that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And with how this is related
is skin cells.
Yeah, yeah. How this is related is this is literally the laboratory that managed Koberger's DNA. So we had recently covered a story this week where we're looking directly into this and some of the details and other cases and things like that that appear like they relate, you know. So we wanted to get a better understanding of the lab and the location, how it's managed. Is the DNA ever left alone? How easily is it accessible? Can other law enforcement walk in and get behind the door where the DNA is kept? Like, how secure is secure? You know what I mean?
Did you see Ashley's comment?
What?
About wondering if they can track you through vaginal DNA.
No.
It just seemed ridiculous. But I mean, if they can do it with men, I assume they could do it with women for sure.
Yeah.
It seems like you could get DNA from literally like just touching anything.
Yeah.
Like that was my whole point with the knife sheath. They went to a local army surplus store and asked him about it, like, you know, and they were talking about what the knife was and stuff. It was in some article. Like, how do we know? Because he went shopping in Moscow frequently. How do we know he didn't go in an army surplus store and touch a knife that a killer then picked up and went and killed the people with?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But
did that answer you too, Lulu?
I did go into hibernation for a minute, trying to figure out if there was a difference between environmental and touch DNA. And there's not. There's no difference.
Here, we'll finish. They keep looking at fingerprints, though. I'm wondering if they're looking at fingerprints and seeing if they can get touch DNA from it, the skin cells and oils. Yes, that's a good call out because we didn't say oils, but yes, you guys, the oils specifically, and we actually cover that in the new video a little bit of how that can transfer. And I mean, I think it's interesting. I learned a ton. I hope I do it justice sharing it, you know, this week. We're gonna have to cover it's right here. Look, latent prints. We're gonna have to cover this tomorrow or another day. We'll keep it on the back burner, but we'll see you later, Amanda. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Talk in Discord.
Yep. Have a good night, Amanda. Hey, I wanted to mention this. So this is from the Scientific American, and it's actually about touch DNA being used possibly in the John Benet Ramsey case.
Yeah.
Which the Boulder police won't release
to
be done, which is so stupid.
Yep.
But it says touch DNA only requires 7 or 8 skin cells from the outermost layer of your skin.
What about a single use?
I don't know.
Will one skin cell do it?
I'm so curious how many skin cells were on that knife sheath.
Oh, Michael, I bet we would have heard about that if they did. I personally think we've got all of their evidence. I really, 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 really do. Now, do I hope they have a whole bunch more that proves Kohberger's the guy? Absolutely. I want Kohberger to be the guy. I want the real guy to be behind bars and not out in the street somewhere where it can be done again, you know. But based on how we see cases, court cases normally go, and arrest warrants normally go, and presentation of evidence gathered and all that good stuff, it's very uncommon that they have a whole boatload of evidence they're just waiting to push out, you know.
Yeah, that handprint on the window, it did seem small, and I'm so curious whose that was. Watch it be a police officer's.
Yeah.
Contaminating the crime scene.
Jeez. What entry of arrestees? Meaning, in some states, if you just get arrested, they have the right to take your DNA and put it in the profile.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. In New York with Gilgo, they have to go through a lot of red tape in New York, but in some states, I don't think they have all that red tape.
I feel like you should, in order to be forced to give up your DNA, you should have to serve time. I think.
Well, there needs to be a search warrant.
Well, I think if you're in the state's custody, like, they own you, bro.
Yeah. I just think probable cause should have to be established, and then they'd be able to get it.
Yeah. There's still some more here too. We won't get into them tonight, guys, but I'm curious to watch the latent prints and these other two just to get a feel of this this office and lab still, because I think that gives a good window into how these things were managed in this. You know, I still haven't seen any cameras. I still haven't got my question answered. Is this evidence ever left alone where it can be accessed? You know, how do they track every single person that touched it? Can they provide a what's it called, the chain of custody from the time of picking it up to the laboratory, every single person that's touched it from pickup to fold or file envelope to laboratory to storage to testing to, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's very important. And if I was a defense attorney, that's one of the main things I would be asking for. Not not to just stir the pot here, but to understand cross-contamination, because this DNA is circumstantial evidence. A lot of people don't realize that. You hear all the time like, well, yeah, a case could be closed on circumstantial evidence. Yeah, DNA is circumstantial evidence, and it can be closed with circumstantial evidence, you know?
It's very, very convincing circumstantial evidence, though. It puts you at the scene as long as it's accurate.
Yes.
Which I think that's the issue, is everybody all this time. I know I thought that DNA, like, it goes to a lab with scientists, like it has to be right.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? I didn't realize it was based off of percentages, that they could be only 60% positive it's your DNA, and you could be convicted off of that because everyone hears DNA and they're like, yeah, it's
rock solid.
It's rock solid. You were there at the crime scene, when it's like, well, they're 60% sure.
Someone literally took DNA evidence into a court case where it was 7% likely. 7%.
They just omit that fact.
Oh man, that is so ridiculous. So ridiculous. But I was blown away the fact that DNA evidence is circumstantial. And you want to know the reason why too. And I understood it after I heard this, and I didn't know it before, you know, my research last week for Friday's podcast. But what makes it circumstantial is because it can't tell you how it got there or why it got there. I feel like that's a good explanation, you know, because I think a lot of people look at the DNA evidence and they don't think, wait, that's great that we got DNA here, but how did it get here? How do we know that it got here in the act of a crime? You know what I mean?
Right.
Can we prove how it got here in the act of a crime?
Right, J. Ray. It could be that it's his DNA, but how they got it is sketch.
Absolutely.
And also, how did it get there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to try real hard to get it out tomorrow, but I'm assuming that it's going to come out on Wednesday, and there's good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the motions, the arrest warrants is also a time-sensitive one we should bring up soon too. But also the Delphi one, but we need to contact the defense first.
So, Michael, you want to know something interesting too? You probably already know this, honestly, actually being in the military. So, did you know that military courts do not allow trace DNA or touch DNA because of its unreliability? Not allowed. Wild.
I'd also be curious if Michael knows anything about the Camp Pendleton case and what his thoughts are on that.
Are you a Marine? If he's not a Marine, he more than likely wouldn't know about it. I shouldn't answer for you, but more than like, because that's like a Marine base, you know?
Yeah, he said no, we sure don't allow.
Yeah, he's Army.
Army.
Yeah. That's what I was so close to going in the Army.
So when my parents were in the Navy and we moved to San Diego, I don't even know what base we would have lived on, but we lived on base in San Diego. What base is that?
Yeah, so the Marines and Navy work very closely together.
So would they have been
on
Camp Pendleton?
They could have been on Pendleton.
There's another base there, though, isn't there?
No.
I thought it was called something else.
So the only other base you're thinking of is the one in the high desert. That's
no, we lived in San Diego.
So the high desert, I think you can get to the high desert in 45 minutes. So do you know if they had a drive?
No, we lived on.
Okay, then
on
yeah,
base.
They're going to Pendleton.
Yeah, and we were in
Pendleton's
San Diego.
massive. It is its own town. And the Navy works very closely with the Marines.
I just remember we had a canyon in the backyard.
Marines don't have their own battleships, like their own ships. They depend on the Navy to take them where they need to go and things like that. And that has a full dock and everything for a full-size ship. So if they're Navy works very closely in that base. I just don't think that they have I just don't think that they have
I think it was Coronado, J. Ray.
then you're up a little bit. That's at least an hour.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna have to ask my dad.
Unless I'm losing my mind here, but I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember at this point, but I do remember it was kind of deserty, so maybe we weren't like right in San Diego. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. A squirrel took me away, but now I'm back. I'm glad you're back, Joey. I don't think it was Loma, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I think Coronado's like 45 from Pendleton. Because there's no, you can't take any main roads. I forget what that is. It the one? I think there's a main road you have to take. That's the one where you drive by the everyone calls them the boobs, and it is it's a nuclear power plant out there. Gosh, what is that road, man?
Coronado says it's in San Diego.
Yeah, it's probably right outside where they have the rock beaches. That's where you go to surf, right on that coastal point. And you drive past the nuclear power plant. They look like boobs. I don't know. That's what everyone calls them.
Coronado probably wouldn't have had desert.
No, Coronado would not have had desert.
Yeah, we had a desert in our backyard, so maybe it was Pendleton. I don't know.
Coronado is an island, and that is where the Navy SEALs train. So when you go to be Special Forces or SEALs through the Marines or Navy, you're going to Coronado. And that's where they have that weird Swazi barracks.
Squirrels. So was there a squirrel like running around in your yard or something? You know, I saw this YouTube video once of this lady who had a squirrel in the tree in her front yard, and it had babies. And one fell out of the nest, and this squirrel had trusted her so much from her feeding it for so long that she literally picked the baby up and gave it back to the mom and put it back in the tree. And the mom was like totally okay with it.
Wow. That's
which is not normal for a squirrel. Like squirrels can actually
really interesting.
Squirrels can actually get super aggressive about their babies and attack people.
Really?
I didn't know that before, but that was another YouTube rabbit hole I went down of squirrels attacking people.
Yeah. All right, guys, that is it for tonight.
We ended it on squirrels.
Appreciate you. That is the best ending ever. Squirrels are, you know what's really funny is I don't know why you're on like the hot topic of squirrels, but you also mentioned squirrels in the podcast too, because I had to find a squirrel video like picture to put in there.
What?
Yeah.
Joey just brought up squirrels.
Oh, I thought you brought up
Why
squirrels.
did I talk about squirrels?
I don't know, but you talked about squirrels.
I don't remember talking about squirrels.
Yeah, we're getting squirrely.
Okay.
All right, guys. We appreciate all of you. This is Thought Riot Podcast,
It's
the
squirrel.
true crime
Squirrel
talk
Riot.
show, Squirrel Riot. And we are live every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So come hang out with us. Come have fun with us. Come chat. Come dig into cases. I feel like this one is a little bit more laid back than what some of them are. But it was super fun. I had a really good time, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here.
I appreciate you more.
Check out our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Like, comment. We love you all. And to all, a good night.
To all, a fantastic night. I
Two-tone.
just have to one-up him.
Two-tone. Good night.
Good night.